is swung on and hit in the air to right field deep. And you can't forget about this one. Blaze Salter hits number 5, and the Newport Gulls retake the lead.
This is the Newport Gulls pregame show, live from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island.
Gone! A grand slam! To left power, right tower power, and the Gulls walk off in the 15th inning!
Coming up, interviews, stats, standings, lineups, and a whole lot more.
Tomas steps on the back for one out, throws to first, and he's in time, a double play.
Pitch, breaking ball lifted deep to center field, and it is gone! A 2-run shot for Cody Hosey.
A high drive, left field deep. Bolzano going back, looking up. This ball is a 2-run homer. P.J. Jones hits it out.
Stay tuned. The pregame show begins now on the NECBL Broadcast Network. In his first season covering Newport Gulls baseball, here's play-by-play broadcaster Stephen Huff.
It's the final home game of the season for the Newport Gulls as they take on the first team in the Southern Division here on Host Family Appreciation Night. How you doing, everybody? Stephen Huff getting you set for tonight's matchup between the Martha's Vineyard Sharks and Newport Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Last time out for the Gulls, they took down the Upper Valley Nighthawks by a score of 8-5 as the offense led the way, scoring 6 times in their 9 trips to the plate. Colton Bender led the way for the Gulls, going 3 for 3 at the plate with an RBI double, while also working 2 walks to reach base safely in all 5 of his trips up to the plate. The Gulls will take on the Vineyard tonight, who are in first place in the Southern Division. The Sharks are playing a doubleheader today as their first game is against the Ocean State Waves before they trek across the bridge to take on the Newport Gulls. It's the Gulls and Sharks right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Gulls pregame show starts right now.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Nick Bell here with Greg Cavallari. Now, Greg, this is Ask and Go, where we take some questions from social media and then ask you them. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so first question. How many people mess up your last name?
Just about everyone. I feel like every place we go to, they're always asking me pronunciation, and I mean, I just let it go most of the time. I don't really mind it.
So before this interview, I had to repeat your last name to myself at least 5,000 times just to get it. So second question, the reason why you wear number 2?
Well, I wear 3 most of the time. At school, I wear 3. All my life, I've worn 3, but I got 2 this summer, and I'm happy with it. 2's a good number.
And your favorite song?
Favorite song? At the moment, I'll say SOS by Avicii.
It's a good one. Most likely to fall asleep on a road trip, one of your teammates?
Justin Cherry, no doubt.
Does he snooze out a lot?
Yeah, all the time.
Is that why he has a hammock out there in the bullpen?
Yep, always chilling out, relaxing.
And who has the best facial hair on the team?
Facial hair. Who is it? A lot of people clean cut around here. It's a tough one. Maybe Scott. I gotta say Scott, yeah. Well, he did until he cut it, until he shaved it all off. It's all gone now, but I don't really know then. No one really has that big of a beard. East off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone. What about
How about Mike Townsend? Mike Townsend.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting little thing he's got going on over there. It's a little goatee, right? Yeah, where is she at?
And so, who now has the best hair on the team?
Best hair. I'll give that to Cherry as well. I mean, look at that. The little bun on the top with the headband. It's classic.
All right, so our final question here is a trivia question. I asked this one last week, and I think only Colton Bender got it. So the question is, what street is Cardines Field located on?
What street? America's Cup Avenue.
Yep, that's the right question. There's technically two answers because there's Marlborough Street that goes along there. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but that's right?
No, you're right.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
you're right.
Nice.
All right, Greg, thank you. And the pregame show continues next on NECBL Broadcast Network.
And welcome back to the NECBL Broadcast Network pregame show. I'm John Perrick. I'm joined alongside today with Newport Gulls starting pitcher Justin Cherry. Well, Justin, last night, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, and a season high of 9 strikeouts. What was going for you?
It was more my fastball. My fastball was really working yesterday, and my changeup was looking pretty good. I was just getting a lot of swing and misses on those pitches.
Well, Justin, last night we saw how dominant you can be on the mound, but on Saturday up at Sanford, you showed us how dominant you can be at the plate during batting practice. Tell me a little bit about that.
I haven't taken batting practice in a while, probably since the beginning of the summer. Just my timing was really off. Couldn't swing it at all. Just making a lot of foul balls and misses.
Well, Justin, of course, it's game number 40 today. It's been a long summer here in Newport. What one moment sticks out for you?
Probably Irish night. That was really stands were packed. It looked like it was sold out. There were so many people here. There were a lot of Irish people here that were just acting ridiculous, and it was so funny. And that night was probably the coolest night out here.
Well, Justin, of course, we're going into the playoffs. That has been confirmed. Newport will be playing at some time, possibly Saturday, unless Martha's Vineyard loses their next 3 and Newport wins out. Do you think that this Newport Gulls team has what it takes to hoist a 7th Fay Vincent Cup?
Yeah, I do. I think we've showed that the pitching can definitely be there, and the hitters definitely we have the bats to do it. So I think we definitely have a really good chance at it this year.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Justin. And I'm John Perrick, and the NECBL Broadcast Network pregame show continues next. And welcome back to the NECBL Broadcast Network pregame show. I'm John Perrick. I'm joined alongside today with John Perillo, Newport Gulls assistant coach. Well, John, you joined us after our 3rd game of the season. Tell me a little bit about your experience.
Oh, it's been great. And what's the best thing about the whole thing is these kids have just been great. They're hard workers. You ask them to do something, they do it. And it's just been a joy to be with them all year long. It really has been.
Well, John, I know that you have a relationship with Newport Gulls owner and general manager Chuck Pava. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Chuck and I go way back to college days. We played baseball together at Eckerd College, and we've been friends ever since, and he's a really good friend of mine. Actually, I was in his wedding. And we were talking just before the year, and I was kind of in between jobs, and he said there was an opportunity maybe I could coach. I said, geez, why not? So it's been great.
Well, John, of course, it's my understanding that back in the day, you threw batting practice at Fenway Park. Tell me a little bit about that.
I did. I guess that's my claim to fame. When I was at Eckerd, we were playing at Harvard University, and the assistant coach at Harvard saw me pitch, and he says, I hear you're a Boston guy. When you come back, why don't you give Lee Stang a call? Lee Stang was the pitching coach back then for the Red Sox. And a couple of weeks I was home, and I saw this piece of paper with a number on it, and I gave it a call, and he said, come on down, and gave me a little tryout, and he said, we'll keep you, and I did it for the summer. It was a great experience, and they actually paid me too, which was great. But it was fun. It was a really good experience, and as I get older, I look back, and it really was a good time.
Well, John, you told me about how much you like how hard these guys work. It's game number 40. Do you think that this Newport Gulls team has what it takes to go deep into the playoffs?
Absolutely. I mean, we had what was good. We had some adversity this year. So, and when a team has adversity to come out of it, that's when it's going to kick in for the playoffs. Like I said, we had some ups and downs, but we got the pitching, we got the hitting, and if we play some good defense, we can win anyone. We can beat anyone. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, thank you very much for your time, John. And the NECBL Broadcast Network pregame show continues next.
Once again, here's Stephen Huff and the Newport Gulls broadcast team.
Welcome it to Newport for Host Family Appreciation Night, where kids under 12 get in for free. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, Keith Chattonover, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello, as it is a battle between the 1 and 2 seeds in the Southern Division. The Martha's Vineyard Sharks coming off a win today against the Ocean State Waves, and the Newport Gulls with a 25-17 record. Of course, these are the 2 top teams in the Southern Division. Now with the win for Martha's Vineyard, they're locked in first place. The Gulls are locked in second place, but it's been a great season for them so far on the year, and they're both looking to remain hot going into the playoffs.
Yeah, the Sharks rendered tonight's game basically meaningless with their afternoon victory over the Ocean State Waves 9-5. The Gulls have also clinched the second seed. They will be above Mystic. And so if Mystic holds on, they're leading at the moment. If Mystic holds on, that will also eliminate Danbury and set the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in the NECBL South, with the play-in game scheduled at the moment for Saturday night.
So the playoffs in the Southern Division could be locked up today.
Yep.
If Mystic does get that victory. Of course, Martha's Vineyard did have a game earlier today, as we mentioned. It was against Ocean State, and they won that game. And how'd the Sharks do it in that one?
Well, the Sharks did it with crooked innings. They scored 5 times in the second and 4 times in the fifth. That was all the Sharks needed. Brett Marshall got the win, went 5 2/3, ended up giving up 5 earned runs. I think he was better than that ledger would suggest, frankly. And the Sharks, big second inning capped off by a 2-out, 2-run double from Chamberlain, who had really been struggling. Good to see him get a big hit. And then in the fifth, 4 straight hits to begin the inning. Those runs would all come around and score. Trevor Pittman got the loss in that contest. Sharks improved their record to 27-15. Like you said, they have clinched first in the NECBL North. At the moment, they have actually clinched being better than Keene in the North. North Adams, however, if they win out, Sharks lose out. I'm not sure how that tiebreaker breaks down. The Sharks do have the tiebreaker over Keene without a doubt. So if North Adams suffers one more loss or if the Sharks get one more win, that will also secure the Sharks having home field as long as they go in the playoffs. If they reach the championship series, they have a magic number of 1 to ensure home field for that as well.
So even though the playoffs are likely set, at least for the Vineyard and the Gulls here tonight, there is still something left to be played for Martha's Vineyard in this one.
Yep, Sharks want home field throughout. Again, home field with Keene is already a done deal. North Adams, the tiebreakers get very difficult to hash out once you get below record against one another. But yeah, Sharks can make all that moot with a victory here tonight. They've done well against the Gulls so far.
Yeah, it has been a good series between the Sharks and the Gulls. The Vineyard do hold the tiebreaker against the Gulls on that one, and they have locked up first place anyway, so they do have home field advantage, at least through the Southern Division playoffs. The Gulls, though, come into this one 25-17, fresh off a win last night over the Upper Valley Nighthawks by a score of 8-5, where the offense scored in 6 of their 9 trips up to the plate. But since it is Host Family Appreciation Night, we're going to send it down to the field where they are being honored here tonight.
Host Family Appreciation Night. Folks, these are our host families that host our players. Let's give them a big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, our host family program to us is the most important program that we have. Since we started this team here in Newport back in 2001, we always felt that our host family program would be the foundation that we build this organization on. You can't have a host family program, or it's very difficult to have a summer baseball program in a tourist community like ours in Martha's Vineyard. It's not easy to find host families, so we are so grateful, so honored to have these wonderful families take these players into their homes for the summer and treat them like their own. The other thing that I like to recognize is, since 2001, we've had so many host families that have taken these kids into their homes. And we're not tonight recognizing just these host families. We are truly trying to recognize every host family who's taken one of our players into their homes over the course of our summers. It's truly, truly exceptional. We're honored, we're grateful. Between Greg Fader, Ron Westmoreland, myself, Chris Patsos, and Mark Warren, we are honored to have all these wonderful families take these kids in. We're grateful, and let's start off by just giving them a big hand once again, please. Often you wonder what it takes to be a host family. These young men are very busy between all the games that they play, the travel games, the summer camps, the reading programs. They're always busy. So sometimes you don't see your host player often enough, and sometimes you recognize that they're really busy, but you just try to be there for them as much as you can. And we're honored because we are so grateful we have the best. So we're going to start this program off right now. And first, I'd like to introduce the first player is Mackenzie Stills from Vanderbilt University. And his host family, Melissa and Chuck Taylor. Where's Melissa? So this is our 18th year as a host family. We have a lot of sons around the country. Next, I'd like to introduce Jim and Pam Thomas. They hosted this summer Colton Bender from Quinnipiac University, Hayden Jones from Mississippi State, and Ryan Kursky from the University of Southern California. And folks, this is their 8th year as a host family. Very generous. The Thomases, we're so grateful and honored to have you as host families. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to introduce David and Alexa Jesmondi. They have 3 children, Ben, Grace, and Derek. And they're not here this evening. And they hosted Connery Peters from Wichita State, and he's not here this evening. But let's give him a hand. It's their 2nd year as a host family. We have Mike and Stacy Vogel, their 3 children, Taylor, Evan, and Addie. And they hosted 2 players, Garrett Schmeltz from Louisville and Dylan Brown from Cal State Fullerton. And it's their 2nd year as a host family. We're honored to have you as host families. Thank you all very much. The bookends, good job. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to introduce Dave and Teresa Cooey, who hosted Jake Gustin. Jake is not here right now. We had to return home yesterday with an injury, but Gully's going to be their host kid for the day. It's their 1st year as a host family. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Nick and Celeste Logathets. And they hosted Greg Cavalier from University of Rhode Island. And it's their 1st year as a host family. First year host family, thank you so much. Next, I'd like to introduce Melissa Grinnell and her son Aiden. And they hosted Scott Holtzwasser from Northeastern University. And it's their 1st year as a host family. This is going to be an emotional one. Aiden says to his mom, "Don't cry." Next, I'd like to introduce Pat and Kelly Keys. Captain Pat, U.S. Navy, and his wife Kelly, and their 2 children, Gracie and Cooper. They hosted Mike Sansone from Fairfield University and Isaiah Thomas from Vanderbilt University. It's their 2nd year as a host family. Thank you so much the Keys family. Now I'd like to introduce Peter and Carlene Regan and their two boys, Aiden and Jack. They hosted Brett Bosick from the University of Kansas. And folks, it's their 11th year as a host family. 11 years, folks. We're so grateful. I'd like to introduce next Chris and Becky Farwick and their two children, Elizabeth and CJ. They hosted Carson Rudd from Stanford University, who just went home this morning. So, the Gullies will represent Carson for today. It's their 5th year as a host family, folks. Let's give them a hand. I'd like to introduce next Nicole Seabolt and her daughter Deanna and Sophia and Josh. And they hosted Justin Henry Malloy from Vanderbilt University. And it's their 5th year as a host family. And Paris joined us today too. We're so honored. Thank you so much for your support. I'd like to introduce George and Ann Oliver. They hosted Jordan Marks. Jordan's from Canada, and he had a wonderful experience here with his host family. Retired military officer. It's their 6th year as a host family, folks. Thank you so much for your support, Olivers. We're so grateful. Next, Spencer and Michelle McComb and their two boys, Brady and Ryder. They hosted Austin James and Art Joven, both from the University of Missouri. It's their 1st year as a host family. Art Joven went home with an injury, but we still have Austin. Thank you so much. Thank you for opening your doors to our players. And they told me earlier today they want to host 6 Gulls next summer. Next, Nick and Patricia Sarantakes and their 2 children, Mark and Delaney. They hosted Zaid Walker from Michigan State, and he had just gone home for tooth surgery. Yeah, the root canal. It's their 4th year as a host family, folks. Let's give them a hand. Thank you so much for hosting and opening your doors. We're grateful. Next, Sarah and Joe Macedo. They have 2 children, Miles and Cora. They hosted Peter Ceruto from Rutgers University. It is their 4th year as a host family. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Macedos. Next, Stephanie Bannister and her girls, Olivia, Georgia, and Alana. And they hosted Michael Townsend from the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA. It's their 3rd year as a host family. That's a wonderful picture. The Bannisters, thank you so much. Next, I'd like to introduce Mike and Claire Rapp and their children, Tommy and Lizzie. They hosted Joey Bellini from the University of Cincinnati. Mike Rack is an officer in the United States Navy and a professor over at the War College. Let's give them a hand. It is our 4th year as a host family. Next is Brian and Stephanie West. They have 2 children, Hannah and Garrett. I'm not sure if they made it. Their player was Zach Ottinger, and he's not here either. So let's give them all a hand. It was their 3rd year as a host family. We're grateful. Karen and Jack Mancini and their 2 children, Megan and John. They hosted Hudson Haskett from Tulane University. And it's their 3rd year as a host family. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your hosting of one of our players. Next, Dane and Tracy Sampson. They're on vacation, so they're going to be stepped in by Patrick Maybach's parents. Patrick Maybach from Southern Virginia University, and his parents, Chris and Robert. They'll step in for his host family tonight. It was their 1st year as a host family. Great picture. Thank you so much. Next, Matt and Karen Ellsworth. They hosted Ryan Tuhurst from the University of Villanova, from Villanova University. And it's their 1st year as a host family. You get in the middle, we'll color coordinate that. There you go. Thank you so much, the Ellsworths. Next, I'd like to introduce Lisa Smith, who hosted Sam Jacobsack from Northeastern University. Her 2nd year as a host family. She's not here this evening, but Denise Passos is going to step in. Get in there, Derek. Thank you so much. Lisa, thank you so much. Next, Pat and Mary Beth Fenton. They hosted Cameron Furfer from the University of Missouri. And their son, Cooper. Folks, this is their 11th year as a host family. Let's give them a big hand. Now we have the Kingsbury family, which is one of our players who lived with his family here in Newport, Jimmy Kingsbury. He'll step in with Gully for this photo. And his parents are for life. Jimmy was fortunate. He lived right up there in that apartment on the 3rd floor this summer. Next we have The Hamilton family. Their son, Chris. He's from Stony Brook University, and he lived with his family here in Newport this summer, and their parents for life as well. Thank you so much. Next, we have the Cherry family. Justin Cherry from the University of Rhode Island, better known as Hollywood. Come on out. He lived with his family this summer. And we'll bring out Bo Baruti. Come on out, Bo's teammate from the University of Rhode Island, who also lived with his family this summer. Come on out, Bo.
Okay, so Mystic now, the worst thing is 22, that's the breaking the worst Mystic can do is 22.
And lastly, folks, I'd like to also extend our appreciation to Atria Senior Living, because that's where we stuck 3 of our coaches for the summer. They lived out in Portsmouth in Atria Senior Living, and they enjoyed it and kept everybody company out there. Coach Sorrow, Coach Zackerson, and Coach Winterow. Thank you so much. And lastly, our coach, John Perillo, who has to drive here from up near Gillette Stadium for every game. He's hosted tonight by his wife, Sharon. Thank you, Sharon. Folks, thank you so much for your support of our host family night. If anybody is interested in being a host family, we have a sign-up sheet out in the front. And you have the opportunity to be one of these families or one of these players in your home. Thank you so much. And host families, thank you all so much, host families. Come out this way.
We are almost set for action here at Newport as we saw a lot of the host families being honored. Stephen Huff alongside Keith Chattanoover, the voice of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. And Nick, I'm going to send it your way before the national anthem. Take us quickly around the league about the games happening tonight.
Thank you, Stephen. So Martha's Vineyard played a doubleheader today. They played at Ocean State this afternoon. They had a 9-5 victory over the Waves. New Bedford defeating Winnipesaukee in another doubleheader, 3-2. Mystic defeating Upper Valley, 10-1. So with that win, the Southern Division playoff seedings, if you will, have been set with Martha's Vineyard in first, Newport in second, and Mystic in third. So Mystic will be coming here on Saturday for an evening matchup. North Adams and Valley are playing tonight at 4:30. Mystic and Upper Valley are going to play that second part of that doubleheader. The New Bedford and Winnipesaukee have no score right now, as that game just started. Keene and Ocean State also no score, as that one just started. Sanford and Vermont is also playing tonight, and North Adams and Valley. As for the Northern Division standings, we have the Keene Swamp Bats in first with a 25-17 record. Followed by them, half game behind, is the North Adams Steeple Cats. Followed by the Steeple Cats is the Valley Blue Sox, 2 games out of first place. And they are tied with also Upper Valley and Vermont, all 2 games out of first place. And the Sanford Mariners are 9 games out of first place with a 16-26 record. Winnipesaukee 12-28, rounding out the Northern Division, 12 games out of first place. As for the Southern Division, I just said before, the Martha's Vineyard Sharks are in first and have clinched the first playoff spot. The Newport Gulls in second, clinching the second playoff spot, and the Mystic Schooners in third, clinching their playoff berth. The Danbury Westerners follow the Mystic Schooners 19-22 in the season, 7.5 games out of first place. The The Ocean State Waves, 18-24, 9 games out of first place. And the New Bedford Bay Sox, 14-29, 13 and a half games out of first place, rounding out the Southern Division. So, Steve, back to you.
So a couple of good games going on tonight in the standings, shaping up in the Southern Division. I mean, it's set for the playoffs with Mystic winning their first game of the doubleheader. The 1, 2, 3 is all set. Newport and Mystic on Saturday as it stands.
Yep, and that's what it will be. The Sharks will finish first. Newport will finish second. Mystic will finish third. Danbury will finish fourth. And then New Bedford and Ocean State in fifth, New Bedford in sixth. That's going to be 1 through 6. And in the North, however, totally different story. The North is jam-packed. You have 5 teams that are eligible to make the playoffs going into the last game of the year. That's going to be a heck of a fight tomorrow and maybe into Friday.
I mean, it's a gauntlet up in the North. You look at it, yesterday's games, there was teams playing for a playoff spot and first place in the Northern Division at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's not that much different here tonight.
Well, the North Adams win over yesterday was crucial. Their defeat of Keene in Keene, or Keene's defeat of North Adams in North Adams. That flip-flopped the number 1 and 2 seeds. But you look at it, Upper Valley, that's a tough loss today, boy. That puts them out of the playoffs against a team that didn't have all that much to play for, Mystic. That's a tough loss. They're now 2 back, as are the Valley Blue Sox, as are the Vermont Mountaineers.
Yeah, I mean, everyone seems to be skidding in the Northern Division for that third spot.
Right.
It seems to be Keene and North Adams fighting for that first spot in that division now. And just everyone hitting a rough patch, a cold streak at the wrong time. You're looking at the 3, 4, 5 teams in the Northern Division.
Yep. So coming into when I got here at 5:30, the way the standings looked in the North was Keene, North Adams, Upper Valley, Valley, Vermont. Now it's Keene, North Adams, Valley, Upper Valley, and Vermont. It is going to be a dogfight. All the tiebreakers that are involved here. It is going to be a fun day of baseball tomorrow.
Yeah.
Plenty of games on tap here today. Plenty more on hand tomorrow. None matter anymore in the South, but it's going to be a fun day in the North tomorrow.
Yeah, it still could help the Vineyard trying to get first place for the rest of the playoffs all the way through the championship. And Newport trying to also up their record in case they advance to the championship as well, trying to get the better record. But for the Northern Division, that is something to keep your eyes on because there's still quite a few games left to be played for all those teams, and those standings are going to shake up quite a bit. And so I think there's like close to 10 games. Maybe there are 10 games on tap here today.
Today there are 10 games.
10 games.
And you think about it, Danbury has the day off, so that is 12 teams playing 10 games.
Yeah, that's unimaginable.
Oh, it's crazy.
Doubleheaders all around the league
yeah.
right now. Of course, we had a lot of rain early in the season and a lot of cancellations because of the crazy weather we had. And then we actually had a spurt of it just about 2 weeks ago or so, a week and a half ago. Of course, we had our game suspended here at Newport. Nick and I experienced some crazy weather where the Ocean State game had to be suspended until this past Monday. So Newport experienced some of that, and Northern teams experiencing quite a bit of that as well, and that just makes it tougher for them. But what's interesting, the Valley tie with Mystic, that might come into play and make it tougher for the playoff situation and might help Valley out. We saw Mystic, it helped them clinch it up today.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, Mystic would have clinched anyway if that had been a loss, just with the way the tiebreakers worked. But you're not wrong about the fact that the tie adds a quirk. You know, the standings are tough to compute without ties. Now it's even tougher. But tomorrow we're going to have some big games. Vermont and Keene. That is a huge game at Alumni Field. North Adams and Sanford. Can Sanford play spoiler? Upper Valley and Valley. Again, you know, the winner likely probably makes the playoffs in that game. The loser probably doesn't. It's going to be a heck of a day for baseball tomorrow.
It's going to be some winner-go-home games tomorrow, and some teams still fighting for third place. You even mentioned the Vermont game against Keene. They have an outside shot looking in, but Keene's going to be still fighting for first place. So those are going to be some intense games. And Nick, looking at the Newport schedule, of course, Winnipesaukee tomorrow, Martha's Vineyard tonight. It's easy to say, oh, there's not much left to play for, but there is because they're trying to up their record at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Tonight's game's going to be very crucial in terms of, just trying to see what you can do against Vineyard. We'll probably play them next, which will most likely, if they win on Saturday, they will end up playing each other in that final playoff series in the Southern Division. So, I mean, tonight's a very important game for the Gulls.
And, of course, also for Newport, this is just another chance, and for the Vineyard as well, but for Newport, this is a chance just to get some arms out there, get some guys out there, get some experience, just to keep the hot bats going, because that's been the story as of late for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of distracted right now by Gully and the motorcycle, but
we do have goalie riding a Harley Davidson out to center field right now.
It's a mindless chopper by Gully. But yeah, anyways, tonight's a very important game because, as you said, you can get some guys like some experience, see what they can do in the playoffs, or see what they can do against a potential playoff team.
So we will have to keep our eyes on tonight's games because, as we said, there is 10 games going around the NECBL tonight, including our matchup here in front of us between the 27-15 Martha's Vineyard Sharks and 25-17 Newport Gulls. And then as Newport hits the road tomorrow against Winnipesaukee, we'll have to keep all our eyes on the games around the league for that as well. On the mound tonight, we'll get to it a little bit later, but Mackenzie Stills will be starting for the Gulls. Nick, you've seen him a couple times past here at Cardines. What do you like from him?
Everything. I mean, he's got a fastball, slider. I think he also has a changeup, but he predominantly throws a fastball and slider. I talked to him about that, and the fastball or the slider can really get him out. So, I like what I've seen so far from Mackenzie Stills this season, and I think he can do some damage tonight against the Vineyard Sharks.
As we see one of the cutest first pitches on this season, Brady from the mound with a nice toss to Justin Cherry. Last night's starter on the mound for the Gulls after he ran around the mound once or twice.
Looked to be a curveball from where I was sitting right there.
Already has the breaking ball at that young of an age. Good prospect for the Gulls to pick up on.
Yeah, he's definitely got some good stuff that the Gulls might want to look at somewhere down the road.
So we're going to send it down to the field for tonight's national anthem.
Tonight as our colors are being presented by a Cub Scout troop from Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Please remain standing as tonight's national anthem is presented by Taylor Vogel. He's a host brother of Dylan Brown and Garrett Smells.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming
Thank you all, folks, and thank you for your patience tonight. And thank you to our host families.
Tonight's national anthem was sung by Taylor Vogel, the host brother of Dylan Brown and Garrett Schmeltz, 2 pitchers for the Newport Gulls, as the honor guard tonight was the Portsmouth Cub Scouts. So we welcome you back into Cardines for tonight's action between the 25-17 Newport Gulls and 27-15 Martha's Vineyard Sharks. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, Keith Chattonover, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. And I'm going to send it over to Keith. Keith, take us through the Vineyard lineup tonight.
Alrighty, Matt Chamberlain will lead things off, and then Rudy Aguilar. Aguilar had been hitting 7th or 8th for a majority of the year. I love his spot in the 2-hole, hitting .343 on the year. I think that is just perfect for him. He doesn't strike out a ton. I like him up there in the 2 slot. Raper hits 3rd. Burnset hits cleanup. DeSatis now batting 5th again. He batted 5th this afternoon. He had been leading off and hitting 2nd for most of the year. I actually like him hitting 5th. He does strike out a fair bit. I think he's more slated for the middle of an order than the top of an order. Then you have Anthony Vedetto, who had a home run last night. Brady Slavens bats 7th. He had a good day this afternoon. Josh Spiegel catches the nightcap after Raposo caught this afternoon. And then Jake Studley gets a chance for the Sharks. He is the newest Shark. He is 1 for 3 to begin the year. He rounds out the 9 men that make up the Sharks lineup. And then on the mound for the Sharks is going to be Oliver McCarthy.
Well, it looks like an interesting lineup. Definitely a different one for the Vineyard, but one that poses a big threat for the Gulls. Facing that lineup on the rubber for the Newport Gulls tonight is Mackenzie Stills of Kennesaw State. He's had 8 appearances on this season so far, 3 starts. He has a 3.95 ERA through 27 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 21 runs, 12 of them earned off of 29 hits and 16 walks. He has 24 strikeouts in those 27 1/3 innings pitched. As for Newport and their lineup, leading things off will be Greg Cavalieri, the URI left fielder. That's the first time he's leading off in quite some time for the Gulls. Batting second is Colton Bender from Quinnipiac. He will be playing second base tonight. That's his first start at second base since high school. We'll have more on that later. Chris Hamilton is back in the lineup for Newport, batting third. He'll be playing first base. Batting cleanup for the Gulls is Justin Henry Malloy. At third base, batting fifth is Hayden Jones. He'll be behind the dish for the Gulls. Batting sixth is Brett Bosick, the University of Kansas right fielder. Batting seventh is Joey Bellini, the Cincinnati shortstop. Behind him is Ryan Tours, the Villanova designated hitter. And rounding out the order for the Newport Gulls is Isaiah Thomas, the Vanderbilt center fielder. And of course, Keith, I'm going to send it back to you. Who is the starter on the mound? You said it was Oliver McCarthy. Give us a little bit more information on him.
Yeah, so McCarthy started the year out in the pen, making his third start now, moved to the rotation. Earned a loss on the 19th versus Vermont, went 4 innings, gave up 5 runs, although only 2 of them were earned, so his defense really didn't help him out. He's pitched, though, to a 3.60 ERA this year, which is pretty darn good, especially for the hitter-friendly NECBL. 11 walks, 20 strikeouts. That's too many walks for 15 innings pitched. But he can back it up with the Ks, and he hasn't really been burned with the free passes yet. Does not throw as hard as Stills does as we're watching him warm up. He throws awfully hard. But McCarthy will strike out a lot of batters.
Well, calling the balls and strikes tonight for McCarthy and Stills, both the pitchers on the mound, is Will Bowers. He's behind the plate, and in the field today is Kenny Tochi and Tony Letizio. As for the weather at first pitch, it's a little warm outside, 76, partly cloudy, but 84% humidity, so it feels a little muggy out there. 5-mile-per-hour wind coming out of the southwest region, and said it feels a little bit muggy because of that humidity. Keith, you think that's going to have an effect on the game? You think balls will travel a little bit farther because of that?
Well, you never know what's going to happen at Cardines. There are balls that you wouldn't think leave, and then they do. I would assume the ball's going to travel well tonight. It's a muggy night. You said it. We'll see. We saw the Sharks hit. I'm going to go with 1 home run in the doubleheader they had here. I believe it was Raper. I think he was it. Maybe Chamberlain. I don't know why that sticks in my head. But Sharks weren't exactly home run happy the last time. We'll see if they can do that so tonight. They've really been hitting a lot of bombs here later in the second half.
Well, we will keep our eyes on that as the game goes on. Defensively for the goals, Cavalieri, Thomas, and Vosick left to right in the outfield. Malloy, Bellini, Bender, Hamilton in the infield with Jones behind the plate. As it is Stills taking on Matt Chamberlain, the leadoff hitter for the Sharks here in the top of the first. Chamberlain on the season for the Vineyard, a .292 hitter, leads the team in hits. First offering from Stills, fastball low for ball one.
Going into the afternoon cap of today's doubleheader, he was 1 for his last 23, going back to the 24th. Had a good day, though, this afternoon. 3 RBIs.
It's now the 1-0, another fastball. This one missing outside, 2-0, and that's good for Matt Chamberlain, obviously one of the stars in the Vineyard lineup, and you want him to get out of that slump and heat back up heading into playoff time.
Absolutely. It's good to get his back going now.
Now this 2-0 pitch, another fastball. This can be chopped over to Hamilton at first. He fields and tosses to Stills, covering the bag for out number 1.
So Chamberlain perhaps lost a piece of lumber there. Sounded like a broken bat, and is out 3-1 for the first out of the inning. Rudy Aguilar now the batter. I sound like a broken record. I mentioned this heavily in introducing the lineup. I love this move by Jay Mendez by putting Aguilar here. I think this is where Aguilar should play if he's going to be in the lineup. Great number 2 hitter. Doesn't strike out a lot. Gets on base.
Does have a .343 average as this first pitch fastball lifted into right. Vosick giving chase, and it's going to end up in the corner. Aguilar thinking too, but he holds up as it is a short porch over there, but it's going to get away from Bellini on the throw, so moving up to second is Aguilar. And costly mistake there for the goals. Helps out the Vineyard.
Yeah, that's a ball that has to be cut off at some point. The coach or the manager is out for Newport. I'm wondering if there's a discussion as to whether that ball was fair or foul.
And it's hard to rule it foul with the warehouse being
if it's foul, it's got to hit the warehouse, right? I mean, that's common sense, right?
And they're going to come talk about it. It's an interesting discussion here.
I don't know if we have a replay on that ball from the left side. We're totally blocked. We can't see that at all.
That is the one part of the park that we don't have a good read on, just in that right field corner.
Yeah. So as you can see, the umpire is getting together. At the moment, it's a single and then an E9, I'm assuming, charged to Brett Vosick. Although, I mean, yeah, he should make a better throw, but that ball's got to be stopped by somebody.
As the umpires are meeting about this one and talking it over. As it stands, there's one away here in the top of the first with the runner on second. And Will Bowers is done meeting with his umpires. They're going to talk this one over. And it looks like whatever they discussed, it will not change the call on the field and will go on.
Yep. So a single for Aguilar. An E9 moves him to second. And now Jackson Raper, the batter.
So with a runner in scoring position, that does bring up Jackson Raper, who has a .324 average on the season. Righty on lefty matchup for the second time this inning for Stills on the mound. First offering fastball going to be lined past Hamilton all the way off the warehouse. It was fair. They're going to send Aguilar around third. The throw to the plate, not in time, so the Vineyard take an early 1-0 lead.
Raper just kept that ball fair down the right side, then hit off the front of the warehouse right near the Cardines Field scoreboard, jutted back out. Raper thought about going to second twice. He first thought about it off the bat, and then he thought about it again when Aguilar came around to score, but he holds at first. Sharks quickly here have a 1-0 lead.
That's a tough break for the goals. The warehouse coming into play today. That's the first time we've seen a line drive land fair and then play off the front of the warehouse.
Yeah, to me, I thought that was going to be a ground rule double.
This first pitch misses low, 1-0.
Yeah, from where I was saying, it looked like a ground rule double because I thought it hit where those banners are over there and went inside, but then the ball kind of ricocheted out. Never seen a ball bounce like that in my 2 years here in Newport.
First for everything. As long as you keep coming to the ballpark, eventually you're going to see something new every day. As this 1-0 pitch, fastball misses up, 2-0. Stills looking on the 2-0 to Alan Burnstead. He's hitting .325 on the season. Leads the team in doubles and home runs, though, so a lot of power. Now on the 2-0, another fastball up and in, 3-0. Last time out for Stills on the mound. It was a good start for him against the Danbury Westerners. Went 6 innings, gave up just 1 run. It was earned off of 4 hits and 3 walks. Did strike out 5 in those 6 innings as he's going to catch Burnside swinging at a fastball over the heart of the plate for strike 1.
Just in the last 2 games, I've seen several occurrences of guys swinging 3-0. It's almost as if there's no discussion about a red light anymore.
Yeah, you know what? That's an interesting discussion because the green light is typically on 3-1, but there's sometimes a trend with some teams as this 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed. Another fastball over the heart of the plate. But you know a fastball, a lot of times it's an easier fastball to hit. A get-me-over fastball on the 3-0 is coming. So do you move the green light onto the 3-0 count? And it's a risky move because it could just be giving a struggling pitcher a strike on the mound. But it could pay off in a big extra base hit as that fastball misses outside for ball 4. First walk of the day for Stills, and now there's runners on first and second. And,
you know, we're the broadcasters for this team, and I think we take it with more seriousness than they do. They're here to hit. Not that they're not taking it seriously, but they're here to hit.
Yeah.
And so if they get a good pitch 3-0, they want to hit. And I don't blame them for that. I just think it's been a trend that we've seen not only in the NECBL but elsewhere as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Newport is still the 3-1 green light team, but I have seen some teams starting to swing on some 3-0 counts, and so we've seen it here today as that first pitch at the knees of DeSatis, 0-1. Stills looking on out of the stretch, righty on lefty matchup. Looking over at second at Jackson Raper, and he's going to step off the mound and gain some composure a little bit, take some time.
Now he's going to go get a conversation with Jones. For the Sharks, this is an impressive start to the day. They got home at about 3:45, 4 a.m. from Danbury last night. A very quick turnaround to be on the 10:45 boat. I was thinking we might see some sluggishness. I'm sure you've seen it from me today. But they have looked sharp. First game, did not commit an error, and so far up a 1-0 here.
As this 1-0 pitch, 0-1 pitch, misses up 1-1. And you know what? That is impressive because they get back late, and then they have a doubleheader today. They win the doubleheader, and you would expect some players to be a little sluggish out there, as you said, or at least maybe some sloppy play. But so far, the Vineyard looks excellent here in the first. As now this 1-1 offering, fastball in there for strike 2.
And later in the game against Ocean State, they had opportunities to give up in at-bats. They didn't. They worked counts. You know, it almost seems like they're on autopilot, but in a good way. You know, sometimes we talk about that being a negative thing, but this is what this team is. They get their hits, they get their at-bats, and they work counts.
And that's how they've won a lot of their games. As this 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Nice change up there from Stills to catch DeSatis out in front. First strikeout of the day for Stills on the mound, and there's 2 away here in the first.
So DeSatis, who is 2 for 4 in game 1, is 0 for 1 to start game 2. Now Anthony Vedetto.
Vedetto at the plate, hitting .243 on the season. What I like about him, looking at his numbers, 23 walks to 25 strikeouts, nearly even at that point. As this first pitch fastball misses up, and you just talked about how guys will work the counts in there at bats, and he's a guy that seems like he does just that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he'll get his home runs. He'll get, a few strikeouts here and there, but he works a lot of counts, like the entire Vineyard lineup.
As now Stills on the 1-0, another fastball, this one missing low and away, 2-0. And this Vineyard team started off, in the middle of the season, they had a 10-game win streak.
11
game
in
win
a row.
streak.
Yep.
I think when I saw you guys, it went up to 10 games, and then you won one after that. And so to have that hot streak was so huge for you guys. It elevated you into first place. As this pitch is going to miss inside. Another fastball from Stills, 3-0. But then to have the lineup start to heat up a little bit, find a groove here. And you said they're on autopilot, but they're finding success on that autopilot mode here at the late end of the season. That's what you want going into the playoffs.
And remember, they started the year 5-8. Since then, they have gone 22-7.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible turnaround for the Sharks as this 3-0 pitch Fastball misses up for ball 4. Second walk of the day for Stills, second in the last 3 batters, and that loads the bases for the Vineyard.
Yeah, I mean, that's a better than 750 win percentage for a large majority of the year.
And you don't do that by accident.
No.
It's just consistent play, quality play over and over, and that's why you guys have locked up the first seed in the Southern Division. Stills looking on to Brady Slavens, the 7-hitter in the Vineyard lineup, who tips this one into the glove of Jones. 0-1. Jones couldn't hang on, but it's still a strike. Off speed there from Stills to start off the at-bat against Slavens.
Although I've talked to pretty much every other broadcaster in the last week, everyone says, you know, they think that Newport's a team to beat in the South. That's what I've heard from a bunch of folks. I think on paper they say Newport's the better team. We'll see if they meet in the playoffs.
Now this 0-1 pitch, fastball misses inside, 1-1, and that's what makes this so intriguing, because I think on paper you look at Newport's team and they do have a lot of studs coming from big programs, and they've produced. But both these teams had the same amount of all-stars, and Vineyard has been so sound defensively that has given them an edge in so many games, and they've grinded out at bats. As this 1-1 pitch is fouled off, count now is 1-2. And I think it's interesting to see the different playing styles in the NECBL can produce results, and the same results, both of them producing large amount of wins.
And you know what's interesting? You mentioned they have the same amount of all-stars. For the Sharks, that's 7 all-stars. 6 out of 7 are from non-D1 programs.
And that's so impressive.
And that's what's impressive. And frankly, we had other folks who could have deserved those honors as well.
This 1-2 pitch swung on and missed from Slavens for strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Stills as he leaves the bases loaded for the Sharks. But they do score 1 in the first heading into the home half. It's 1-0 Vineyard here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the first, 1-0 Sharks on top of the goals, as it is Oliver McCarthy starting on the mound for the Vineyard. He will be facing off against Greg Cavalieri, Colton Bender, and Chris Hamilton. Greg Cavalieri at the top of the lineup. Now, we've seen him for the most part of the season at the bottom of the lineup in that table setter. Last night against Upper Valley, went up a little bit in the lineup, was number 2 hitter for the Gulls. But it's an off day for Scott Holzwasser, and so they're putting Greg Cavalieri, who leads the team in average, as the leadoff man in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, you know, I like Cavalieri at the 9 hole because, like you said, he's that perfect table setter. He's fit that role throughout this season for the Gulls. But, I mean, the guy's hitting 390, so you got to, you know, mix things up here while you have the chance. And maybe, who knows, this could be your lineup for the playoffs.
Yeah, and at least it's an idea of putting him up at the top of the lineup. And what I like about this is this first pitch from McCarthy is going to be grounded softly up the middle. Slavens with it, throwing to first in time to retire Cavalieri. But I do like the move because Cavalieri obviously leads the team in average. And putting him at the 1 or 2 spot could get him that 5th at bat at the end of the game. And that could be so valuable for a guy that is up there and hits and average for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a money ball type of guy, gets on base. And as you can see right there from that last play, he almost beat that out. He has a lot of speed, too, which is what you want from your guy in the 1 hole.
That does bring up now Colton Bender. First pitch missing low for ball 1. Colton Bender yesterday was the star of the show for Newport against Upper Valley. He went 3 for 3, including an RBI double, but reached base safely in all 5 plate appearances as he worked an additional 2 walks to those 3 for 3 day. As that 1-0 pitch catches the outer half, 1-1. Bender comes into this one now hitting .340 on the season for Newport and leads the team in doubles. This pitch is going to be chopped softly over to the first base side. Vedetto with it, and he's going to step on the bag for a quick out number 2.
So 2 quick outs for McCarthy. Now Chris Hamilton, the batter.
That does bring up Chris Hamilton back in the lineup after having a rest day yesterday. One of the all-stars for the Gulls this past weekend in Vermont. Lefty-on-lefty matchup for McCarthy on the mound as this first pitch breaking ball drops into the zone.
That was a nice off speed from McCarthy.
McCarthy looking on now on the 0-1. Fastball this time at the knees, just below the knees, 1-1. And I like that. In the first inning, a lot of times you start off batters with the fastball, but he comes right away with the curveball to Hamilton as he comes back up with the breaking ball. This one, not as much hook to it, and misses up 2-1.
Two really good takes there by Hamilton.
This 2-1 pitch fastball, that one missing low, 3-1. And so we were talking about earlier the hitters counts and swinging on 3-0. Hamilton finds himself into the traditional green light situation here with the 3-1 count. McCarthy now on the 3-1. Hamilton does swing, and he's going to pop it up into left. Burnstead over to his right, and he's there for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls in the bottom half of the first. Heading into the second, 1-0 Sharks here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the second, only the 8-9-1 hitters due up for the Vineyard. They lead the Gulls 1-0. Josh Spiegel leading it off for the Sharks. He's taking on Mackenzie Stills on the mound.
So 2 English rock selections to lead it off for you, Mr. Huff.
Yeah, I mean, you're critiquing my DJ.
Not at all. So we had Derek and the Dominoes first?
We had Derek and the Dominoes, and now the Rolling Stones.
Absolutely.
It is Stills on the mound, righty on righty matchup. First offering to Spiegel going to be chopped over to third. Malloy with it, turns around, throws to first. Hamilton can't handle it.
That's going to be charging E3 on Hamilton. I think that's more because you can't, I mean, just such a good play by Malloy. And yeah, that's in the ground, and I get that's normally an error, but that's a ball that Hamilton really ought to scoop. And I think that's a ball he's supposed to scoop. That's an E3 according to the official score.
It's a tough play, but Hamilton will be the first to tell you that he should have come away with it. Really good defensive first baseman for the Gulls. And so now with a runner on first in the top of the second, no outs, that will bring up the 9-hole hitter for the Vineyard, Jake Studley. First offering, fastball in there for strike 1. This is the first time the Gulls are seeing Studley.
Yep, made his debut against Mystic a couple of nights ago and got a hit in a pinch hitting appearance. 0 for 2 against Danbury last night.
So 1 for 3 on the season for the young Shark. Stills looking on out of the stretch, working from the first base side of the rubber as he catches Studley swinging on a changeup, 0-2.
So quickly here, Newport has committed 2 errors.
That was something that Newport struggled with at the early half of the season. They had a lot of defensive miscues. They led the league as this one is going to be swung on and missed. Another changeup that Studley can't get around on. 4 strike 3, third strikeout of the day for Stills. But the errors were a tough part for the Gulls. Like I said, they led the NECBL in errors. I believe they still do because they had so many at the beginning of the season. They've cleaned it up as of late, but a couple here today, and it's hurting them a little bit. Hurt them in the first, and now there's a runner on first here in the second. This brings up Matt Chamberlain, who fishes at a pitch for strike 1.
Looked like the changeup again from Stills. We saw a lot of fastballs from him, and the Sharks were all over it. They got 2 hits in the first, both of them well struck.
3 straight changeups from Stills. Now he's looking on the Chamberlain, comes back with a fastball, misses low and in. Nice block there from Hayden Jones, and the count's now even at 1.
Oh, that's a heck of a stop from Jones. That ball wasn't remotely close. Down and in, and he scooted to his right expertly to keep Spiegel at first.
And I like the call with 3 changeups in a row. Now, a lot of times you don't want to double up on changeups for, obvious reasons. But as this fastball is going to be nubbed foul, 1 and 2. But with a guy like Stills on the mound, everyone knows about his low 90s, mid 90s fastball and the slider to go with it. So you saw Studley and even Chamberlain looking for that fastball early on. And so if you throw that changeup over and over, it throws him off a little bit because that's not the scouting report on Stills.
Yeah, he's primarily a fastball slider guy, but when you throw in that changeup, he can be very, very hard to hit because he's so unpredictable.
Especially so early on as this 1-2 pitch, there is the slider, that one missing low, 2 and 2. But throwing it so early on, you expect to use the secondary and third pitches later in the inning, second and third time through the lineup. But you use it so early, only in the second inning. Used it at the 9-hole hitter. And then against Chamberlain, that could be so effective because guys don't think you're going to throw it yet, as that fastball's fouled off along the third base line. Count remains 2-2.
The one thing I will say, we already are in the second time through the order, but no, the point's well made. We saw McCarthy go to the off-speed time or two in the bottom half of the first. I think pitchers feel they have to nowadays. They have to work in the off-speed stuff early.
It's now Stills on the 2-2, fastball missing low. Count now full.
Well, I think now, too, a part of why Stills has gone with the changeup so much this inning is because of what happened last inning when he was going fastball slider. You know, guys are really jumping on both of those pitches and really hitting them. So, you know, you got to try and mix something in that's new.
He did give up 2 hits and 2 walks in the first inning. And it was predominantly the fastball slider that he was throwing, as another fastball here misses low and in. So that is the 3rd walk of the day for Stills, first here in the second. And that puts runners on first and second now for the Vineyard with 1 away.
It's just been a walk parade for the Sharks the last few games. Against Danbury last night, the Sharks saw the Westerners deal them 13 free passes. Earlier today, Ocean State dealt them 5 free passes, and already now 3 tonight.
And it's smart for the Vineyard just to take their bases, because that's how you win a lot of games, is just being patient at the plate and taking what the other team will give you. Stills looking to bounce back here. Double play is set up for him as he throws a slider that swung on and missed. 0-1.
Aguilar singled and scored the lone run so far in tonight's game.
And you talked about him being utilized at the second spot in the lineup. Last time they faced off, these two teams, he was in the 7-hole, but he's hitting .343, and tonight he's in the 2-hole, already singled and scored. He's now on the 0-1, another slider, this one missing outside. 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, he's hitting north of 340. You can't hit him 7th forever when you're hitting that well. He was, I think, really an unsung hero for the Sharks throughout most of the year. He's really, I think, gotten the recognition he deserves now that his batting average is as high as it is.
And I think it's the same for the Gulls with Greg Cavalieri, as this pitch is fouled off down the third base line. Another fastball from Stills, but he's a guy that leads the team in average, has .360 average. He was out for a little bit with a minor injury, but I think people kind of forgot about him a little bit because he was buried in the lineup and wasn't, at the top of the lineup hitting first or second, but was producing just as much, if not more, than anyone else in the Gulls lineup. And now that you see him at the top of the lineup, you saw it yesterday, he was productive as that pitch is hit foul left of the bag at third. Cavalier yesterday against the Nighthawks, a pair of singles and 2 runs scored. That's why you put him up there, so he can get on early, and the guys behind him in the meat of the order can hit him in, and that worked out for the Gulls. Now Stills looking on the 1-2 to Aguilar. Runners on first and second with 1 away here in the top of the second. Sharks lead 1-0 over the Gulls. The slider misses outside, gets away from Jones behind the plate. Both runners advance into scoring position.
That will be a wild pitch charge to Mr. Stills, and the Sharks have a prime opportunity to extend the lead despite having done pretty much nothing at the plate in this inning.
Tough break there for the Gulls. With 2 strikes, not a bad idea for Stills to go with the slider. That could be a put-away pitch. It has been his put-away pitch, but working a little bit too much outside there. So went all the way back to the backstop. But still an opportunity for Stills on the mound on the 2-2 count. Looking in at Aguilar, the righty-righty matchup. Comes with the fastball, and it's lifted foul out of play along the right field side.
The Newport infield is back. They will concede the game's second run to produce the inning's second out. Chamberlain at second, he walked and advanced on the wild pitch. Spiegel at third, he got on with the error, advanced on the walk, and then again on the hit by pitch, the wild pitch.
It's now the 2-2 offering. Fastball going to be grounded to Bellini at short. He's over to his left, throws to third, not in time. The tag was not applied in time, Everybody is safe. A run scores for the Sharks. They now lead 2-0.
Oh, that's a poor choice from Bellini. I don't want to get on him, but he has to go to first there. Aguilar doesn't run all that well. He's got to get the second out of the inning. That's going to go down as a fielder's choice. Give Aguilar an RBI. That's a fielder's choice. No hit for Aguilar. Fielder's choice fielded by the shortstop. And I agree with that official scoring. No hit can be given there. But do give Aguilar an RBI. And Newport has now committed 2 errors, issued a wild pitch, and that's a poor decision from Bellini.
So now there are runners on the corners for the Vineyard. Still throws over to first. Not in time. Now,
I don't mean to get on him there. It's just that that play's in front of you, and you need to get the second out of the inning and hopefully then retire Raper and get through the inning. But it's a bang-bang play. If he makes that play,
we're singing a different song.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
I will say this to his credit. He was rolling to his right, and he tried to get the leadoff runner, or the lead runner at the time. There was no play at the plate, so it would have been the next lead runner. If that play would have been made, then there's no one on third base. There's a runner on first and 2 outs. There's no threat for another run in this inning. So I don't hate the play as much. It's just unfortunate for him that it didn't work out, as this one's hit into the hole where Bellini just was. He was going over to the bag, and that's going to score another for the Vineyard. It's 3-0. They have runners on first and second.
Yeah, give Raper his second hit, his second RBI. Was Aguilar running with that pitch? Because Bellini went the completely wrong way on that play. I'm just wondering if Aguilar was running, and that forced him to move to his left.
I think Aguilar might have been moving, but also you had Tony Letizio, the field dump, up the middle, and Bellini couldn't see, and so he had to move around the umpire to see, and the ball was hit to the other side of the umpire. So an unfortunate break for Bellini and the Gulls. As that first pitch off speed in there to Burnstead for strike 1.
We're getting a good view of that obstruction there with the center field camera. It looked like it was hit right at him, but he was moving to his left and just couldn't backtrack.
Yeah,
but Raper hit it hard.
It was a good hit from Raper. It's now the 0-1 to Burnstead. Changeup swung on and missed, 0-2.
A lot of big swings here from Burnstead. Sharks have scored twice in the inning. They have 1 hit in the frame.
Stills looking on to Burnstead. He worked a walk in the first and was later stranded on second. There's one away here in the top of the second. On the 0-2, runner takes off for third. Strike him out at the plate. Throw down in time. Strike him out, throw him out. That's going to end the inning here in the second, but the Vineyard do take advantage of a couple costly mistakes for the Gulls as they tack on 2 more here in the top of the second. Heading into the bottom of the frame, it's 3-0 Vineyard here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Fans, the
Bottom of the second, 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for the Gulls as they trail 3-0. Justin Henry, Malloy, Hayden Jones, and Brett Bosick due up.
I'm glad we returned to some good old-fashioned American rock.
You know what? After you made the comment, I knew I had to.
As soon as I heard the Red Hot Chili Peppers in the headset, I knew we were doing something right.
Maybe that'll be some good luck for the Gulls here in the bottom of the second as they trail 3-0. Oliver McCarthy still out there on the mound for the Sharks.
You got to him there, Keith. You got in Steven's head. Now, now it's American rock for the remainder of the Gull season.
You're all over me, Keith.
Tough critic.
I'm a critic of everybody. I was on poor Joey Bellini there for half an inning previously.
It is McCarthy facing off against Malloy. Lefty on righty matchup. First pitch drops beneath the zone on the outer half. They're going to see if Malloy went around on the check swing. He did not. 1-0. .7:28 local time. This 1-0 pitch. Another pitch misses up 2-0. We did get started a little bit later than normal, the scheduled 6:35 first pitch, because we were honoring all the host families here tonight on Host Family Appreciation Night. And it was special seeing all these host families as that fastball catches the corner low and in 2-1. But all these host families that have been, some of them in their first year, some of them in the 4th, 6th year, some of them double-digit years. I mean, it's certainly a special night here at Cardines. This pitch to Malloy is going to be grounded over to third. Raper with it, fires across the diamond in time for out number 1.
We have such a good view of that left side of the infield coming off the bat. That ball didn't take a great hop for Raper, but he played it beautifully on the short hop. Easy play to get Malloy once he had the ball. 1 out now for Hayden Jones, the catcher.
Hayden Jones does settle in for the Gulls. Of course, he did hit a walk-off hit against Ocean State 2 days ago in the first game of the doubleheaders. That first pitch breaking ball misses out, slow and away outside. 1-0. That was in the suspended game against Ocean State. Had the long shot down the left field line. Now this 1-0 pitch, fastball missing out, 2-0.
You know, the best part about that was that you got to finally interview him
Yeah.
after he'd been pleading with you for
over and over
for like a week.
Since he arrived, basically, is this 2-0 pitch fastball swung on and missed at the top of the zone, 2-1. He arrived late from Omaha with Mississippi State. They were in late season play at the College World Series. But then he got here, and we do a lot of pregame and postgame interviews. Is this 2-1 pitch, another fastball missing outside, 3-1. And he kept talking to me. Hey, when are you going to interview me? When are you going to interview me? And I joked with him, like, oh, I'll get around to it, you know. But it just eventually never worked out. As this 3-1 pitch, it's going to be lined sharply over to short, but Slavens is there for out number 2.
That's bad luck for Jones. He hit that ball on the screws.
And so I told Jones, well, if you have a big day at the plate, I'll interview you. Now, he did have a big day at the plate, but Dylan Brown outshined him, retiring 12 in a row in one of his starts, so I had to interview Dylan Brown. But then yesterday, Hayden Jones, 2 days ago, last time at Cardines, Hayden Jones had that walk-off hit, so we finally did have that interview together. So that first pitch break, changeup, broke beneath the zone, 1-0 to Vosick.
Yeah, eventually I had to kind of step to the plate here and interview him myself. And, you know, Hayden's a good interview.
That 1-0 fastball misses low and away.
And, you know, you're missing out a little bit there, bud.
Well, no, I mean, it was a good interview, and it was fun. You did get an interview with him before I did. Is this 2-0 pitch line back up the middle, and McCarthy gloves it.
And as if it was the easiest thing in the world to do.
And so that will retire the side for Newport in order. Heading into the third, they trail 3-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the third, 3-0. Gulls trail the Sharks here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Stephen Huff alongside Keith Chatnover, the voice of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. And Nick, it's top of the third. You're alongside with us here in the booth. I'm going to send it your way. Take a look around the league in the NECBL. What's happening around with all the other games?
Thank you, Stephen. Bottom 4, Upper Valley up 1-0. Part 2 of a doubleheader with Mystic. Part 2 of another doubleheader, Winnipesaukee and New Bedford. 5-0 Winnipesaukee, bottom of the third. Keene up 1-0 over Ocean State. Sanford and Vermont, no score, bottom 4. And then there has been a rescheduled doubleheader. There's supposed to be a 4:30 start between North Adams and Valley, but however, there is some rain in that region as I look at my Doppler weather radar map, since I am a part-time weatherman here in Newport as well. And so that has been rescheduled, further throwing the scheduling these last couple days here of the regular season into a little bit of a spin.
This first pitch to Nander DeSatis. Drops beneath his bat for strike one. Yeah, rescheduling at this point, that is a tough job.
It's gotta
for
go
the
to Friday.
NECBL. No, yeah, it has to go to Friday. That's the day off for all the teams. And the buffer day between the regular season and the playoffs is that 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses outside, 1-1.
Well, unless I'm mistaken, I believe Danbury has a Friday doubleheader, I think against Winnipesaukee.
It is win against Winnipesaukee.
Which doesn't mean anything.
This 1-1 pitch, fastball misses low and away, 2-1. Yeah, now it means nothing. I mean, obviously the guys, once their stats out there, maybe some more reps. But as for the standings, it means nothing now that Danbury's officially out of the playoff race. Now Stills on the 2-1, fastball in on the lefty, 2-2.
I mean, this doubleheader today, though, means a lot in the Northern Division as you have a battle between the second and the tied for the last playoff spot teams.
Oh, yeah, those games have to be played.
Yeah, and those, I mean, if that comes down to the final day, is that 2-2 pitch, half-hearted swing from Nander DeSatis. And that is strikeout number 5 for Stills on the mound.
Made Nander look foolish there. But you know, it's interesting. Now I go to the NECBL.com scoreboard. North Adams and Valley is the only doubleheader I see. The Danbury Winnipesaukee doubleheader is no longer there. I'm wondering if that was 86th.
That first pitch, slider misses low, 1-0. Yeah, that could have been canceled.
I wouldn't be surprised, let's put it that way.
Is now on the 1-0 offering. Fastball misses low and away once again, 2-0.
Vedetto has now seen 6 pitches tonight. He has not seen a strike.
All of them balls, as opposed to Nander DeSatis, who has seen a lot of strikes, 2 strikeouts. So Still's kind of back and forth in between hitters. As now the 2-0 offering. There's the first strike he sees as he swings through it, 2-1.
Probably would have been ball 7 if he had left it. But the count's 2-1 on Vedetto.
Just would have dropped beneath the zone, had a lot of movement to it as it dropped beneath his bat. As this 2-1 pitch, fastball going to be chopped foul along the third baseline and over the fence, 2-2.
That was, I don't even know how to explain how that ball got over the fence, but it took a 2-hop on top of the fence. It's about a 2-inch platform for the ball to dance on.
And then it rode the fence for a little bit. It's now the 2-2. Pitch misses inside. Count now full for Stills on the mound.
In the battle between the cellar dwellers, it's Winnipesaukee up 8-0. It's a tough doubleheader for those teams.
Now the 3-2 offering. Broken bat popped up over to short. Bellini's there for out number 2. The bat traveled about as far as the ball. And there's 2 away here in the third.
The first game, New Bedford won on a walk-off. Although it's technically in Winnipesaukee, but they were the home team for game 1. 8-0 now for the Muskrats in the last of the third.
So that now brings up Brady Slavens. First offering to Slavens, going to be chopped over to first. Hamilton with the backhand grab, steps on the bag for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Sharks in the top of the third, heading into the bottom half of the frame. Still 3-0 Vineyard here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the third, and it's the bottom of the lineup. 2 up for the Gulls, the 7, 8, 9 hitters, as they trail the Vineyard 3-0. Stephen Huff alongside Keith Chatton, the voice of the Vineyard, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls.
So some Jimi Hendrix now. The music selections have just been fantastic.
I appreciate it. I didn't know if it was going to be harsh critique or good critique.
No.
This first pitch to Bellini catches the outer half, 0-1.
I saved that for the, I guess for the players, which is kind of sad, but.
McCarthy now on the 0-1, off speed missing outside, 1-1. McCarthy on the day has faced 6 batters in 2 innings and hasn't allowed a base runner. 3 ground outs, 2 line outs, and a pop out to left as that pitch catches the corner, low and in, 1-2. So lefty on righty matchup to Joey Bellini at the plate. Out of the stretch, McCarthy on the 1-2. Going to be lined up the middle. Chamberlain's not going to get there, and that's the Gulls' first hit of the day.
Yeah, that's their first base runner all day. It had been 6 up, 6 down for McCarthy, but Bellini with a single. He's just making sure I can't criticize him further after I roasted him for his fielder's choice decision, but solidly stroked hit there for Bellini.
You were giving him a tough time, and he redeemed himself with that hit. He's been heating up recently for the Gulls, and he continues that trend here tonight as that brings up now Ryan Tours, the designated hitter tonight for the Gulls, who watches his first pitch curveball drop into the zone, 0-1. And it's interesting about McCarthy, when he faces lefties, he introduces them with a first pitch curveball each time, whereas righties, he does not go to that curveball. But he has done it to Tours, Hayden Jones, and Vosick, as this pitch is going to be chopped foul right of the bag at first, 0-2.
Yeah, that's not unusual to see a different approach to lefties and righties, but almost looks like a lefty specialist against fellow lefties and then more of a regular starting pitcher against righties.
Now the 0-2 offering. Fastball at the letters, swung on and missed for strike 3. First strikeout of the day for McCarthy, and there's 1 away here in the third.
So 1 out and 1 on for Isaiah Thomas.
That was a good pitch there from McCarthy. You're ahead in the count and you go with the high fastball. It's hard to lay off if your tourist at the plate. But there is one away now with the runner on first. That does bring up Isaiah Thomas, as you mentioned. Playing center field tonight. His first pitch fastball missing low, 1-0.
And Thomas, a guy who has had his struggles as of late. But I actually kind of like Thomas here in the 9-hole where Cavalieri would normally be. Another guy who has a lot of speed and can really get on base.
This is 1-0 pitch misses inside, 2-0. He dropped to the 9-hole last night for the first time on the season. Went 2 for 4 with a pair of singles and worked a walk. Also had an RBI on the night, so he did find some success working at the bottom of the order for the Gulls. This 2-0 pitch is going to be chopped over to the third base side, but foul.
And Thomas, a guy, too, who came here straight after winning a national championship, did not go home, came straight here after Omaha, and, you know, you'd had to figure this was going to happen eventually after playing so much baseball from, what was it, like February till now.
Yeah, I mean, slumps are bound to happen for every player, especially one that played so much baseball over that long period of time. As that 2-1 pitch misses low and in, 3-1 now for Thomas. So maybe just a change in the lineup might help him out a little bit. Now he's activated as that table setter for the Gulls. As this 3-1 pitch chopped foul once again towards the third base side. Count is full.
So down by 3. Let's see if Newport elects to run Bellini from first. Obviously a risk because if Thomas strikes out, could be an easy strike him out, throw him out. We'll see.
McCarthy looking on. Runner goes back to first on the throw over because the Vineyard's thinking about just that scenario.
Great minds think alike, Stephen.
Nice little humble brag there from Keith Chattover. Now on the 3-2, Bellini does not go. Thomas does swing, and he pops it up on the right field side and out of play.
And if Thomas can get on base here, but Newport has a very good situation coming up with Cavalieri coming up to the plate in the 1-hole, and he has a lot of speed, so maybe you'll see him drop down a bunt and try and set something up for Colton Bender to knock in a couple runs.
Now this 3-2 pitch hit right back up the middle, and that's going to get through to center. So a nice piece of hitting there from Thomas, and the Gulls have their first 2 hits of the day here in the third, and they have runners on first and second now as the lineup flips over.
Yeah, and both have been ropes right up the middle of the diamond. So now Cavalieri will get the opportunity with 2 men on, the first 2 base runners for the Gulls.
Cavalieri, the switch hitter for the Gulls, does lead the team in average, as we talked about earlier. Could think about the bunt. If he is out on that play, though, it would be 2 outs then for Colton Bender, but Cavalieri also has the speed maybe to beat out a bunt. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they go with the bunt or just let him swing away because of his high average.
Well, if you went with the bunt here, I would think you'd have to send both runners as simultaneously as that bunt was being dropped.
So he does not show bunt on this first pitch, and it misses low for ball 1. I think the Gulls just want their hitters to go up and hit, especially at this stage in the game. It's not a one-run game or anything, so just trying to get as many base runners on the base paths at this point. Is this 1-0 pitch? That is cut at from Cavalieri, and he hits it back into the screen. 1-1.
2-1 Vermont now leading Sanford, so the Mountaineers trying to take care of business. That's a must-win against a lower seed team in the north. Keene also up on Ocean State 2-0. That's also a game that Keene wants to win against lower competition.
It's McCarthy looking on the 1-1. Breaking ball going to be lifted into left. Burnstead giving chase, and it's going to get down. They're going to send Bellini around third. There's no throw to the plate, and that's an RBI single for Greg Cavalieri to open the scoring for the Gulls.
So after McCarthy looked sharp as can be through the first 2 innings, 3 out of the first 4 here in the third have stroked singles, and they've all been hit very well. This one down the left field line, Burnstead over there, just too well placed by Cavalieri. Give him an RBI. The score now 3-1. Still only 1 out, and Colton Bender coming up.
Colton Bender at the plate for the Gulls. Of course, as we mentioned, playing second base today. Comes into tonight hitting .340. Had a great night last night for the Gulls in that 3-for-3 appearance against the Upper Valley Nighthawks. Watches this first pitch fastball missed outside, 1-0.
And what I'm seeing from McCarthy is, you know, he has a lot of movement on his pitches, but he keeps leaving them out over the heart of the plate, and these Gulls hairs are really taking them now.
Now the 1-0 pitch, that one in a little bit more over the plate, but Bender fouls it off down the right field side and out of play, 1-1. Bender hit his first home run the other day here at Newport at Cardines Field, and it was a shot to dead away center. Judging off the bat is this one pitch misses inside, 2-1. You wouldn't have thought that was his first home run of the season because it had so much power behind it.
No, he took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, this guy, he's built to hit home runs, but he's more of an average type of guy, which is what you like about this Newport lineup, is it's filled with these type of Colton Bender hitters.
This 2-1 offering to Bender. He's going to hit into right field. The fourth single of this inning for the Gulls, and that will load the bases up for Chris Hamilton.
4 hits, the only interruption, a strikeout of Ryan Tours. They've all been well hit, and McCarthy really starting to get drilled here in the second. Chris Hamilton, the batter, and that 3-1 lead looking precarious now, and Mac Curran, the Sharks pitching coach, is going to go have a chat with his beleaguered starter.
Yeah, you're seeing a meeting on the mound now. Probably just calm him down a little bit and talk about the situation at hand because bases loaded now for the Gulls with 1 away. You're probably going to want to work a little bit lower in the zone. He's been struggling with that this inning.
Yeah, he's left some balls up, and Newport has been all over it. Another quick check of the out-of-towns. Upper Valley up 1-0 on Mystic. That first loss for Upper Valley, 10-1 at home. They weren't technically the home team, but that's a tough loss for a team that's in the middle of a playoff hunt. But frankly, so was Mystic at the time. Upper Valley now leading. They need to win that ball game.
As Hamilton settles in for the Gulls. First baseman Anthony Videtto playing in on the grass as Hamilton swings at a first pitch curveball. It's going to be lifted into the infield. Raper there from third for out number 2.
That's a big second out for McCarthy. First pitch swinging was Hamilton. Got a pitch, appeared to be out over the plate, but McCarthy gets the out. Now 2 men away for Justin Henry Malloy, who's 0 for 1. Big spot in this ball game here early.
Yeah, it was another breaking ball to start off the lefty at the plate. Hamilton saw it coming, just couldn't barrel it up. It was underneath it, causing the easy pop-up. So 2 away with the bases loaded for the Gulls. First pitch to Justin Henry Malloy. Another breaking ball, this one missing outside for ball 1. Malloy, his first time up, grounded out to Raper over there at third. He's now facing a 1-0 count against McCarthy out of the stretch, working from the third base side of the rubber. Is this 1-0 fastball going to be popped up into shallow right? Aguilar going back from second, and he's there for out number 3. So the Gulls load the bases off of 4 hits and leave them loaded, but they do score 1 in the inning as they now trail 3-1 heading into the 4th inning here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the 4th. The Gulls lead 3-1 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Stephen Huff alongside Keith Chattanova, the voice of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. But since it's the 4th, I'm going to send it over to my broadcast counterpart. Keith, take it away.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Don't worry, fans. Stephen will be back for the 7th. You only got me for 3 innings. For the Sharks, it'll be 8-9-1. Josh Spiegel, Jake Studley, and Matt Chamberlain. Here in the 4th, the Sharks saw their lead cut from 3-2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning, but 3 critical men left on base by the Newport Gulls. Pop-ups from first Hamilton and then Malloy to get McCarthy out of trouble. The batter is Josh Spiegel, who reached on an error and scored in the top of the 2nd. He cuts on a first pitch from Mackenzie Stills and comes up empty, 0-1. The 0-1 short, 1-1. Spiegel, the Pennsylvania native, the Oklahoma State product. Two and one now on the Sharks catcher.
I think this is a good opportunity for Stills on the mound just to bounce back this inning, and he bounced back in the third inning and worked a quick inning. I think this is a great opportunity for him, especially now that Newport started to produce some runs as well.
3-1 now on Josh Spiegel with Jake Studley out on deck. (3-1) is grounded foul back towards that short backstop here at Cardines Field. Count is full, 3-2.
I think if you're Winter out there as the head coach for the Gulls, that's what you want out there with your pitcher. He worked a good third inning, and then you just produced some runs. So you want him to go out and produce another good fourth inning just to get those bats back out there.
The payoff pitch is outside and probably downstairs, ball 4. Spiegel draws a leadoff walk.
And that's a tough start for Stills on the mound because you wanted that hot start in this inning, and he gets his fourth walk of the day, and now it brings up Jake Studley, but after that it flips the lineup back over. So Stills has a little bit to work around now, and hopefully if you're Stills on the mound, you can attack Studley, maybe set up a double play here.
Studley struck out on 3 pitches in the second. Grounds that one down the left side. That is a fair ball according to the home plate umpire. That ball is going to go into the Sharks bullpen, and that will be ruled a ground rule double. So Studley has his second hit as a Shark, his first extra base hit, just fair down the left field line, and the Sharks are in business. Second and third, nobody out here in the fourth.
Yeah, great piece of hitting there. Just pulled it fair and went all the way down to the bullpen, but anywhere else, that's definitely double and maybe a triple, and you're scoring a run, no doubt about it, for the Vineyard, but still a great piece of hitting for the Sharks, and it sets them up well for the top of the lineup.
Matt Chamberlain is the batter. He is 0 for 1. He walked and scored in the second and grounded out in the first. Newport faced a similar situation, second and third in the second, and opted not to bring their infield in. This time they will choose to do so. They will bring the infield in, and Chamberlain grounds it right to the first baseman Hamilton. No advancement from either Spiegel or Studley. Chamberlain is retired on the 3 unassisted. One big out for Stills here in the fourth.
Yeah, and I like that call from Newport. You bring the infield in, trying to cut off any runs. Hamilton fielded that ball well, but because he's in that position, no runner can advance, and you get the out at first still, and no runs cross.
So the Sharks still have runners at second and third. The batter now is Rudy Aguilar. Officially, Aguilar is 1 for 2, singled and scored in the first, grounded into a fielder's choice, which gave him an RBI in the second. Hits that one in the air, shallow left. Cavalieri coming on, not very deep. Spiegel is not going to even try. And now there are 2 outs, and again, the Sharks unable to score with a productive out. Now the inning will be left up to Jackson Raper.
Yeah, and Stills has worked around damage. It looked bleak at the beginning of this inning after the leadoff walk and then double after that, but able to get a weak ground out and then an easy pop-up into shallow left. Great job from Stills on the mound.
So the last hope for the Sharks is Jackson Raper, who already has a 2-out RBI hit tonight. That came in the second. He also drove home a run in the first with the single, so he's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. Raper drills that one to right. That's a base hit. 1 run will score. Studley is going to be held by Jay Mendez. It's another single and another RBI for Raper. He has 3 on the day, 2 of them coming with 2 outs. And the Sharks extend the lead to 3. It's the Sharks 4 and the Gulls 1.
Yeah, it's just been a great day at the plate for Raper. Finds another pitch that he's able to pull there, and it's his 3rd RBI of the day, as you said. But what I love about his plate appearances, it's another thing you mentioned, 2 of those hits coming with 2 outs, and that could be so huge for the Vineyard, and it's proving to be so far tonight.
Raper went 0 for 4 this afternoon, but you wouldn't be able to tell based on his performance through the first 4 tonight. Burnside takes a low strike 1. Burnside walked in the first and struck out in the second. Burnside this time spits at a fastball that misses low. 1-1. So 4 runs now charged to Mackenzie Stills, 3 of which are earned. The 1-1 from Stills, grounded foul back behind home plate. 1-2 on Burnside.
Yeah, and I think, this 1-2 count right now for Stills is a huge one. You need to come back with your best pitch in this situation, your pitch to strike out Burnside at the plate. You've already struck him out once, but either your fastball, your slider, whatever you're most comfortable with. We've seen it be the slider in the past, but we know he has that dominant fastball. We've seen him use that. So one of those 2 pitches, whatever you're most comfortable with in this situation, because this feels like a must-out.
The 1-2 to Burnside is low and outside. Good stop by Jones, moving to his right. 2-2.
Yeah, and it was the slider there, and it looked to be middle of the zone at the knees, but then broke away, and Burnside just was able to lay off, but not a bad idea there from Stills.
Yeah, I think he'd go fastball right here.
It was indeed a fastball, but Burnside had to spin out of the way. The count's now full 3-2, so Raper will get an automatic start from first base with 2 outs.
So Stills has the right idea on the mound, just struggling with command, but all he needs is 1 pitch in this situation.
Swing and a miss. Burnside is done, and so are the Sharks in the 4th, but they do add a run on another RBI hit from Raper. 4-1 Vineyard on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The only thing I love more than rock and roll is a Sharks lead, and they do in fact lead tonight 4-1 over the Newport Gulls. For those goals, it will be 5, 6, and 7. Hayden Jones, Brett Vosick, and Joey Bellini. Hayden Jones lined out his first time, hit it well, but right at Brady Slavens. This time he fouls it back to our left. 0-1.
So we're seeing quite a bit of fog, not a lot, but some fog come onto the field now.
Shark Tank-esque.
Right, I know you guys had some fog over there at the Vineyard. I remember the Danbury game, you had quite a bit of fog.
That game was 3 hours and 45 minutes without the fog delay. That ball hit high in the air to left center field. Burnside and Chamberlain come together. It's Burnside to call and make the catch. 1 out here in the 4th.
It's nice to know that Newport isn't the only field anymore that gets fog delays.
Don't worry, you are not nearly alone.
You guys probably get more than we do.
You can bank us in. You can pencil us in for, 1, 2, 3 per year. A lefty-on-lefty matchup here and a Baltimore chop from Vosick. Slavens charges. Can't get the ball out of his glove. That's going to be a single for Vosick. Would have been a tough play anyway. So Vosick has the Gulls' 5th hit of the evening.
Yeah, it was so slowly hit. It was going to be a tough play, as you said, for Slavens no matter what. Vosick able to hustle down the line and beat it for a single. Even if the throw was made, it would have been a close play. But a good hit there for Vosick. Hopefully trying to get a run or 2 back in this inning. As Joey Bellini's up at the plate. He already has a single today.
One of 4 goals to single in the 3rd.
And I think what's so important about the goals in these situations, you saw it in the last inning, they strung together 4 singles, and I think that's what this team has to do, is just piece together hits, piece together base runners.
The 1-0 was grounded sharply, but it's right at Slavens to second for 1. The turn to first in time for a 6-4-3 double play, and the goals are done in the 4th. A hit and nobody left. At the end of 4, it's the Sharks by 3 on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Fans.
We are back for the top of the 5th. It is the Sharks up 4-1.
Still Stills out there on the mound for the Gulls, out there for his 5th inning of work. He's given up 5 hits on the day. Struggled with control at times, though. 4 walks, and something at the beginning of the year was a little bit of an issue for him. Really settled into a groove in his past 2 starts. Has been one of the best pitchers on the mound for Newport, and so hasn't had a bad day by any means today, but hasn't had a picture-perfect day for him. But I think he's going to find that groove that he wants to settle into like he found in the 3rd. I think, this time through the lineup is where he wants to find it.
That fog really starting to make an appearance as DeSatis takes a bit tall 1-0.
Allowed to be a lot more dense right now.
1-0 was roped, almost took Stills' head off. It's a single for DeSatis, so he's 1 for 3 now. That ball was ripped up the middle.
Yeah, and Stills fortunate to get out of the way there. That could be potentially a scary play. That is always a scary play for a pitcher. That's some of the pitchers' worst nightmare there. And so for Stills to get out of the play, or get out of the way, very fortunate there. Of course, we had that earlier in the game when Brett Vosick hit that sharp line drive up the middle, but McCarthy was able to glove it on the other end.
Anthony Vedetto, the batter, and he takes outside 1-0. Vedetto walked in the 1st and popped up in the 3rd. That 3rd inning was by far the best for Stills. Worked a 1-2-3 frame, and it looked as though he might settle in after that, but the Sharks tagged him for 1 run in the 4th. Broken bat grounder. Bellini's only play is to first, and just getting Vedetto there at first was Bellini. One away as DeSatis moves over to second.
Smart play there from Bellini because it was a slow roller up the middle. As you said, it was a broken bat ground ball, and so Bellini could have maybe at least looked to second, but it would have been a really risky play, and so I like the thought of just going to 1 and getting the certain out, and he did just that. But I agree. It looked like Stills was going to settle into a rhythm in that 3rd inning. It seemed like the Stills that we're used to. You just able to mow through some lineups and force some weak contact, but really also work some strikeouts in there.
So now the batter, Brady Slavens. He looks at a fastball that misses low and in, 1-0.
But I don't think we're too far off from seeing that Stills out there on the mound. I know he's missing some of his spots and giving up some hits, but he's not missing his spots by much. It's not the command that's missing it by feet and going all the way back to the backstop. It's just missing by 1/8 of an inch or just an inch, out of the zone. It's not bad command tonight from Stills.
No, I agree. We've seen those kind of spurts of Mackenzie Stills that we've kind of seen when he's great all season. 6 strikeouts tonight. That's probably going to go undermined between the 3 runs he's given up. But
3-0 now on Slavens.
But I mean, again, a guy who's been here 99 out, a good starter for the Gulls. Definitely not anything to worry about heading into the playoffs.
Three and 1. That fog is definitely going to play a role here tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we are hit with a fog delay, and if so, how long. We have seen it much thicker than this, though, without a fog delay. I believe it was the Ocean State game that we saw that.
3-1, rocketed to deep right field. Forget it. That ball is over the mesh, way out to right. A long home run for Brady Slavens, his 4th of the year. And the Sharks now extend the lead. Now the score, Sharks 6, Newport 1 on a bomb from Slavens.
And he got a hold of that one, was able to turn on a pitch from Stills and pull it down the line. Not only is he able to hit it a long distance, but he hit it over the 41-foot netting. That just goes to show how much he got a hold of that pitch. 2-run shot for the Vineyard as they now lead 6-1.
Yeah, it's probably been the farthest hit home run I've seen in right field this year at Cardines. That was just crushed.
So now the batter is Josh Spiegel. He takes up and in. 1-0.
And we've seen Stills miss up a lot, and it seems to be on his fastball where he's missing up a lot. It just might be a follow-through issue.
That ball's ripped, and that ball's a base hit. Sharks are getting some really solid contact off of Mackenzie Stills. 3 frozen ropes here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, another one lined right back up the middle. Good piece of hitting there from Josh Spiegel, his first hit of the day. He's been aboard all 3 times. Just another one that Stills fortunate enough to get out of the way of, but you're absolutely right. Vineyard finding a way to really hit some hard hit balls this inning.
1 out, Spiegel at first, and Jake Studley, the batter. 0-1 on Studley.
Nice slider there from Stills. We've seen him miss up with that pitch. We've seen him miss low and away, but to start off the at-bat against Studley with it, it broke into the zone. That's what you want to see from him, especially with the inning he's having here.
Studley checks the swing and, according to the first base umpire, doesn't go around. So the count 1-1.
But he comes right back with the slider, and it had nice bite on it once again. Studley thought about it, but still 2 really good pitches in a row. He has the stuff.
Yeah, and that pitch right there is probably going to get some guys to swing at it.
1-2 on Studley, who doubled in the 4th and struck out in the 2nd. So he's 1 for 2.
And I like that fastball there because it goes right where the sliders start. He's tunneling his pitches well at this point. And so if you're Studley, you might think that's going to break.
As that one did, Studley is down on strikes for the 2nd time. Now 2 outs in the inning.
And so then Stills on the 1-2 comes with something off speed and fools Studley. And you're just hopeless as a hitter at the plate after seeing 2 straight sliders, then seeing the fastball, and then it looked like another slider on that one. Because he's tunneling his pitches so well. They're all coming at the same spot, and some of them break, some of them don't. They're all changing velocity. It's just when Stills is on, as he was in that last at-bat, you could see how dominant he is on the mound.
The batter is Matt Chamberlain, and he takes on the inside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, when Stills can really tunnel his pitches, he can tunnel kind of all 3 of them if you think about it. He's got the fastball, the changeup, and the slider, and all can be
fouled back.
And all can be kind of thrown in a way during an at-bat where the batter doesn't know which one's coming, where it's going to break, where it's going to go. So definitely a smart way to pitch at Studley that last at-bat for Stills.
And now he's ahead in this count 0-2. So it looks like a completely different Stills than what we saw in the first half of this inning, and a lot to play with here in this count.
The 0-2 is fouled. Still no balls and 2 strikes on Matt Chamberlain.
Yeah, it looked like he just tried to go right after him on that one.
Well, he came with the slider, and that one was a little bit up, but had some break to it. It'll be interesting to see now if he comes, because he's been tunneling so much, if he comes with the fastball up in the same slot as the slider was to try to get Chamberlain swinging at a fastball a little bit above the zone.
Or he absolutely flew him with changeup right here.
Outside and high.
So he did try to go with the fastball up, but it was in the exact spot that the slider was, and so Chamberlain was able to lay off. But you love the idea from Stills because it's awful deceiving out there as a hitter.
Chamberlain wastes away a fastball.
Yeah, and I think Stills, he's kind of been battered here tonight, but he's kind of sticking to what or what he knows, that gets guys out in these situations, and it's been working for him as we've seen 7 strikeouts so far.
Yeah, we've seen spurts of just absolute brilliance out there, and especially in these last 2 at-bats for him.
Tight on Chamberlain, 2-2.
And look, it's very hard to to kind of trick a batter day in, day out. So you're going to get these kind of rough spots as we've seen from Stills tonight. But nonetheless, like you said, we've seen a lot of brilliance from him.
Again, a 2-2 outside. A heck of an at-bat being put together here by Chamberlain. He is about to see pitch number 8 with the count now full. And with the count full, Spiegel will get the automatic start from first.
You have to give credit for Chamberlain, too, on the other end because he is being patient at the plate. And now it's a full count for Stills on the mound. And he might be a little frustrated because he did have this count in his favor And now Chamberlain just being so patient, your typical leadoff man, able to grind out at bats like we talked about earlier.
The runner goes, and the 3-2 is fouled again. Still 3-2.
And this is what has made Vineyard so successful on the season. We talked about it earlier, just their consistency at the plate, able to just hit for average on the season as a team, grind out these at-bats, make it tougher on the pitchers. Looked like an excellent matchup for Stills on the mound, but Chamberlain able to do what he does best, and it's 3-2. We're about to see the 10th pitch of this at-bat.
Yeah, Vineyard kind of a mirror copy of what the Newport Gulls batters have done this season as well.
The payoff up and away ball for a fantastic at-bat from Chamberlain. He draws a 2-out walk. And now the batter will be Rudy Aguilar.
Yeah, and I think, there's two ways to look at that for Stills. Obviously, it's frustrating, I'm sure, as the competitor in him, because he had that 2-strike at bat and thought that he could maybe put him away. But I think it also goes back to some silver linings in that one as Winterrode's going out to the mound, as he did have moments of excellence in the Studley at bat and then the one against Chamberlain where he walked him, where he was tunneling his pitches well, sequencing them well, and it just seemed like he couldn't finish him off, but it wasn't the end of the world because it was still a productive day out there for him.
Yeah, and at 97 pitches, Winterrode won't allow him to throw a 98th. We'll take a break, and we will be back with Stills' replacement on the NECBL Broadcast Network. We are back. Mackenzie Stills is out. Mike Townsend is in. The UCLA Bruin coming on to replace Stills. What can you tell us about Mike?
Yeah, Townsend is one of the best pitchers out of the pen for Newport. He's going to be a fastball slider change guy. He's a 2.35 ERA through 15 1/3 innings pitched, but 39 strikeouts to just 4 walks in those 15 1/3 innings pitched. Incredible numbers there for him. And it's because of that fastball slider change. A guy like Stills, a lot of bite on that slider, more of a bite on that slider, and he sequences them well and tunnels them well. You're turning to your ace reliever if you're Newport right now, trying to keep you in the game.
The score is 6-1 in favor of the Sharks. Spiegel at second, Chamberlain at first, 2 outs. Rudy Aguilar, the batter, against Townsend. And he takes low and outside, 1-0. The line for Stills is not yet final, but the part of his ledger that is final is the 4 2/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 walks, and 7 Ks, at least 6 runs, and at least 5 earned runs. Aguilar spits at a off speed that misses away, 2-0. The 2-0 is way outside, 3-0.
And Aguilar is St. John's product, as am I. So I got to see him play a few times this year at St. John's. He's a very good player. Guy who batted .233 on the season for the Johnnies and had an unreal game this year against Kansas, going 5 for 5 from the plate.
Aguilar takes a borderline strike number 1.
And you know what really blows me away about Aguilar is his fielding. He's a guy who had a 957 fielding percentage in this year in college, and we've seen it here in the NECBL as well.
Aguilar takes a late hack and fouls it back. The count now full, 3-2. So Spiegel at second and Chamberlain at first. They will both get automatic starts with the count full.
Yeah, I expect Townsend here to go with either a fastball or a slider, but I'm thinking fastball right here just to get Aguilar out and get out of this inning unscathed.
The 3-2. Downstairs ball 4, and the Sharks will have the bases loaded, and guess who? Jackson Raper coming up, and if there is anyone in this Sharks lineup they want up right now, it is definitely the Catawba Indian Jackson Raper.
Yeah, tough walk there for Townsend on the mound. Loads the bases, as you said, but also brings up Raper, who's 3 for 3 on the day with 3 RBI, all of them singles, and just a hot bat at the plate. Righty on lefty matchup for Townsend. Got to be careful pitching around the zone to him.
He takes a first pitch strike, 0-1.
And, you know, that pitch to walk Aguilar right there by Townsend wasn't a bad place to miss. It was low in the zone, kind of on the edge of the strike zone, just couldn't get the call.
Fouled back, 0-2. Raper singled home a run in the first. Raper singled home a run in the second. Raper singled home a run in the fourth. And no, I am not a broken record.
I think I see a trend there.
I would hope so, Alex. But Townsend looking to erase that trend. He's up in the count 0-2. Townsend delivers. Curveball on the outside corner and at the letters, strike 3 called. And the Sharks are done in the 5th inning, but not before a 2-run bomb from Brady Slavens way over the fence and right. It is 6-1 Sharks headed to the bottom of the 5th on the NECBL Broadcast Network. We are back for the bottom half of the 5th inning. For the Gulls, it will be 8-9-1. Ryan Tours, Isaiah Thomas, and Greg Cavalieri. 1-0 on Tours, and immediately Spiegel going to go have a chat with McCarthy. Must have gotten crossed up.
Yeah, I think that'd be the problem right there with McCarthy, as not much happened right there.
The Sharks have 6 runs on 8 hits. They have not yet committed an error. Newport has 1 run on 5 hits. They have committed 2 errors, as Tours lines a base hit right in between Raper and Slavens, fielded on one knee by Burnstead. So Tours has his first hit of the game.
Yeah, Tours just got a perfect pitch right there, right down the heart of the plate. He just takes and slaps it the other way between short and third.
And you like to see that, too, from the Gulls, because it was a sharp hit, too. I mean, a hard hit ball. It just wasn't a gimme hit. Might show signs that they're picking up the ball well from McCarthy now, and that's what you want to see if you're going to have an inspired comeback here against the Vineyard.
Isaiah Thomas grounds one up the middle. That should be 2. Slavens will step on second and throw over to first. So for the second consecutive inning, the Gulls have grounded into a double play, started by Slavens. The first time he flipped to Aguilar. This time he just took it himself. 2 outs and nobody on in the 5th.
Yeah, tough break there. Just as the Gulls thought they might have some momentum, Thomas grounds out into a 6-4-3 tailor-made double play. But now it flips over to the top of the lineup. This is where you hope you could spark something if you're the Gulls.
Greg Cavalieri, the batter. He singled home a run in the 3rd. Fog appears to be, at worst, staying as bad as it's been. I think it's actually receded somewhat.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's definitely gotten a lot better to see around here at Cardines.
The 0-1 grounded to the right side. Aguilar has it, and he will flip it on to Vedetto, and the Gulls are done in the 5th. A hit and nobody left at the end of 5. It's the Sharks by 5 on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back at Cardines Field for the top of the 6th inning. For the Sharks, it will be 4, 5, and 6. Alan Burnstead, Nander DeSatis, and Anthony Vedetto against Mike Townsend, who walked Aguilar but then struck out Jackson Raper on 3 pitches to end the 5th. Burnstead first pitch swinging. Grounds it to Joey Bellini, who completes the throw over to Hamilton. 1 pitch and 1 out in the 6th inning.
A great start there for Townsend. You're down 6-1 in this ball game, so you want those quick innings, and 1 pitch, 1 out. That's exactly how you get those. But as part of the lineup hasn't been great for the Vineyard. It's just a combined 1 hit between them. They've also worked 2 walks, but 4 strikeouts on the day between these 3 batters up at the plate this inning. So I think this is the part of the lineup that if you're Townsend, you want to attack, you want that quick inning right here.
The ledger is now complete for Mackenzie Stills. He goes 4 2/3, gives up 8 hits and 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 5 walks and 7 strikeouts. And if Newport is not able to come back, it would be Stills to pick up the loss. But we have plenty of baseball left. The 0-1 DeSatis swings and misses. 0-2. DeSatis DHing the nightcap of today's doubleheader. He was at short earlier today.
Yeah, DeSatis going to the DH is definitely, you want to give this guy a lot of rest because he's probably one of your best players.
The 0-2 is downstairs, 1-2.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to be interesting with all these teams, focusing now on the playoffs. How are they going to balance all these rosters and wanting to give their guys some rest going into the playoffs?
The 1-2, upstairs, 2-2. It's a good point that you bring up. My only thought would be, since we are so close to the playoffs and no one clinched with, say, 2 weeks to go, I think that will make teams think twice about sitting anybody. You don't want anyone picking up rest. On the check swing, DeSatis takes ball 3.
Yeah, since both sides in the Northern and Southern Division kind of went down to the wire, the North more than the South, but still, only like a day or 2 left in the season for the South until we found out who's going to be in the playoffs. There wasn't a lot of room left to rest some guys. We're only going to see it in the final game or 2, but you almost maybe think about keeping some guys in to maybe refine that hot streak if they've been struggling as well.
The payoff from Townsend, roped into center field, another hard hit single for DeSatis. So after Nander in his first 2 at-bats didn't look all that good against Stills, 2 strikeouts, he has had himself a renaissance, a hard hit single in the 5th, and perhaps that ball was hit even harder here in the 6th.
Yeah, that's been the story for Vineyard. Just a lot of hard hit balls recently, especially in that 5th inning. And Nander had one. Brady Slavens had that 2-run bomb. Just everyone's squaring the ball up really well right now.
So now the batter, Anthony Vedetto, he pops it a mile high. That will travel out of play. No balls and 1 strike. I was waiting to hear that ball come down. I didn't hear it yet. I'm sure it did at some point, but Vedetto skied that one back.
Yeah, I would think that one ended up somewhere on America's Cup Avenue. Hopefully not in someone's car.
The 0-1 dots the outside corner. Good pitch from Townsend. 0-2.
You mean it didn't land in the 20 feet of stands here, according to Nick Bello?
Oh my God, we're still on this. So the other night, we were here doing a game, and I said there was about 20 feet of stands. Again, I'm not great at measuring things. So Mr. Huff here likes to,
1-2 on Vedetto. Continue, please.
Likes to, remind me of the mistake that I made.
Do we think it's a lot longer than
There's more than 20 feet.
Yeah, there's definitely more than 20
There's more
feet.
than 20 feet.
It was a rough ballpark estimate in my standards. Not your standards, my standards.
Are we talking height-wise from the chain link fence? That ball scoots behind Jones. Are we talking from, for example, the top of the stands to a theoretical continuation of the chain link fence above the dugout, or are we talking 20 feet
I was
measured
from the ground all the way up?
Okay, so
Yeah.
measured as a line going from the
plane
bottom.
going up.
I see. So not 20 feet jutting out from out of play, 20 feet from the walkway to the last row of seats.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably about now. I'm going to be careful with the number I choose here. I think I'm going to say 30.
The 2-2 is grounded to the left side, a broken bat. Bellini charges his throw, is not in time. It's an infield hit for Vedetto, and the Sharks have runners at the corners with one out, and Brady Slavin's coming up.
Well, how about that for the Sharks? I mean, story of the night for them has just been hard hit ropes on the for the first 5 1/3 innings, and then that one just a broken bat soft roller over to short. Bellini charges, makes a nice play on it, but when it's your night for the Vineyard, it's your night, and they get a single off of it. Now runners on the corners for the Sharks.
Brady Slavin's the batter, who was 0 for 2 until he sent a 3-1 pitch from Stills deep into the right field night. Slashes this one foul, 0-1.
It looked like he wanted to do the same thing right there, but that one just kind of coming off the bat wrong and sending it down the left field line out of play.
The 0-1 is up and in on Slavins, 1-1.
Yeah, definitely trying to go upstairs right there. Your Mike Townsend just got a little bit too far inside, and Slavins backs off a little bit as it almost hits him.
The 1-1. Good off speed. Slavins did well to get a piece of it, 1-2.
And that right there from Mike Townsend is a very, very good pitch. You know, he fooled Slavins. Slavins was able to get a little bit of a piece of that one, but nonetheless, still a good pitch from Townsend.
In tight on Slavins, 2-2. Quick check of the out-of-town scores. Upper Valley defeats Mystic by a score of 3-2. That's a big win for Upper Valley to split that doubleheader. Vermont leading Sanford 6-4. Keene leading Ocean State 2-1, and Winnipesaukee just squeaking by New Bedford 18-1. The 2-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Throw to third's going to be in tight, and DeSatis is out on the pickoff from the catcher Jones. DeSatis stretched too far off of third, thinking about trying to score. Instead, he's thrown out at third, and the Sharks are done in the 6th. 2 hits and a man left. We're through 5.5. It's the Sharks by 5 on the NECBL Broadcast Network. At Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island, the Sharks are leading by a score of 6-1. For the goals, it will be 2, 3, and 4. And if Blake Shelton is blaring, that means it's Colton Bender at the plate, and then Hamilton and Malloy. In tight to Bender, 1 Dando.
I think this is great for the Sharks with McCarthy out there for his 6th inning of work. You know, you got a long leash on him now on a 6-1 lead. You get your starter to at least, you know, try to go through 6 innings.
2-0 now. Well, he's only at 58 pitches now.
And I think that's what the Gulls need to do better of. Working some pitch counts up a little bit. You've seen them ground into a couple of double plays, 2 in the last 2 innings. And that's helped his pitch count. Right now you just want to battle at the plate, make it tougher for him.
2-1. Well, Winnipesaukee converted on both of their 2-point conversion chances and have now kicked the field goal. They lead 19-1 over the New Bedford Bay Sox. So that battle of the cellar dwellers is clearly going to the Muskrats. The 2-1 is down, 3-1. Other out-of-town scores all are the same. Vermont beating Sanford and Keene over Ocean State at the moment. Again, Upper Valley and Mystic have split that doubleheader. Sharp grounder to the right side. Aguilar has it go off his glove. And just as we were singing Aguilar's praises, he commits an error. And the leadoff man is aboard for the Gulls.
Yeah, the old broadcaster's jinx in full effect here tonight at Cardines. As I was praising Aguilar, the St. John's product a couple innings ago, but his fielding.
Tough break for him, but for the Gulls, this is exactly what you need. A couple of those fortunate plays to go your way. Now runner on first. This might be your time to strike.
Grounded foul. Nice pickup by Malloy, the on-deck hitter. 0-1.
Chris Hamilton comes into this one riding a 28-game on-base streak, and so far in his first 2 appearances, the plate has not been able to reach base safely.
Grounded through the right side. That's a base hit. Bender will pull in to second. So the Gulls now have 7 hits, and they have 2 men on to begin the 6th with Justin Henry Malloy coming up.
So that does work out for Hamilton. Now 29-game on-base streak for him with that hit, and they're taking advantage of that error from Aguilar. You want to keep doing that. You want to keep producing those base runners. You don't need to get all the runs back in this inning, but you need to at least start the process here. Get 1, get 2, maybe 3, but get the chain moving down the line. It's a great spot to do it at the heart of the order.
Malloy, the batter, he takes low and away 1-0. If our producers are watching, I would love a view of the Sharks' pen. They read my mind there. Chris Steffel, the first Shark to loosen in the pen. Grounded up the middle. Slavens boots it. That's going to go into shallow center, and the bases will be loaded. So 2 errors on the Sharks infield, and what really should have been 3 outs instead haven't produced a single out, and Newport is squarely in business. The bases are loaded, nobody out, and Hayden Jones coming up.
Yeah, that one a much tougher play up the middle for Slavens. Had a lot more ground to cover and over to his left. You could see him still shuffling his feet as he was picking that one up, and so that led to the error. But as the Gulls, bases now loaded, this is what we were just talking about. You have to take advantage of these situations because you're not giving them that often.
Jones takes outside 1-0. The official scorer cannot assume a double play, so that's going to be a fielder's choice in an E6, but that had all the markings of a tailor-made double play, and that would have been the 3rd consecutive inning in which the Sharks turned a double play. Now 2-0 on Jones.
Yeah, Gulls caught a break there, as we said, but bases loaded now for Jones. Interesting that Anthony Vedetto at first is in on the grass for the Sharks, while the middle infield is playing double play depth.
And he's way off the line. The rest of the Sharks infield is, of course, back. The 2-0 is just a hair outside. 3-0 on Jones. McCarthy has nowhere to put the Newport catcher with the bases full of goals already. 3-0. That misses. Not particularly close. Ball 4. That forces in a run, and it's now 6-2. And Newport will get the tying run to bat here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, and so perfect opportunity for the Gulls. McCarthy just missing his spots. Might be a little rattled out there and walks in a run. That's the easiest RBI Hayden Jones will have on the season. And just helping out the Gulls a little bit, as you said, tying run at the plate. With still no outs, this could be a huge inning for the Gulls.
Brett Vosick now the batter. Lined out back to McCarthy in the 2nd and singled in the 4th, so he's had a good day at the plate.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous hitter coming up to the plate with Brett Vosick. We've seen him already with a single tonight, and he's definitely capable of getting on base.
Not even close from McCarthy, 1-0. Now 5 consecutive have missed, and 6 out of the past 7 for McCarthy.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say McCarthy is definitely a little bit rattled right now.
This time he pours in a strike, 1-1. Hamilton at 3rd. He singled. Malloy at 2nd. He grounded into a fielder's choice, which turned into an E6. And Jones walked home a run. He's at 1st. just inside to Vasek, 2-1.
I think this is one of the guys you want up at the plate if you are Newport, though. Last time Vasek took on the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, he had 4 singles, and then a couple days later against Danbury, he had 3 singles. So, God, it's been successful at the plate lately.
The 2-1 is outside, now 3-1. And let's see how long that leash is for Jay Mendez.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have a struggling pitcher on the mound. You have a guy in Vasek with 20 walks on the season, so a patient guy that can hit well. This is a perfect case scenario.
3-1 roped into right field. That's a base hit. Hamilton scores. Malloy is going to be held at third. It's an RBI single for Brett Vasek, and the Gulls are within 3. It's the Sharks 6 and the Newport Gulls 3.
And so what does Vasek do in that situation? He continues his hot streak at the plate, able to pull one down past the first baseman, Vedetto, and bring in a run for the Gulls. And it looks like a pitching change is going to happen for the Vineyard because of it.
Yep, so McCarthy is going to exit. We will get you some stats on Chris Steffel when we return on the NECBL Broadcast Network. We are back in Newport, Rhode Island.
And it's a new pitcher on the mound for the Vineyard. Looks to be like Chris Steffel on the mound for the Sharks.
Steffel replacing Oliver McCarthy, who went 5 innings plus, giving up 8 hits, at least 3 runs. He is responsible for Malloy at second, Malloy at third, Jones at second, and Vasek at first. When the inning is over, we'll go over unearned and earned runs, but the Sharks defense has certainly let their starter down, and Chris Steffel, who owns an ERA north of 10, will be tasked with getting through this 6th inning. An inning that has yet to see the Sharks record an out in it.
Yeah, and that's why it's so great for Newport right now. You got the tying run at first base. You got the bases loaded. Still no outs, as you mentioned. You got the bottom half of the lineup. Bellini, Tours, and Thomas due up. All of them have hits on the day when hits have been a rarity for Newport. This could be the inning that Newport comes back, and it could be a big inning for them.
Steffel hasn't pitched in a week and a half, but his last 2 innings have both been scoreless and hitless. Joey Bellini, the first to face Steffel, and he fouls it back to our right, 0-1.
I think worst case scenario if you're Newport is a double play in this situation. You would take the run at least in that situation because it would get you back within 2 runs, and that's what we were talking about earlier. You just want to get some runs in this inning, but you don't want to get a double play here because with the bases loaded, this is a great opportunity for the Gulls.
The 0-1. Not close, up and away, 1-1. Ryan Tours is scheduled next for Newport. Sanford battling at 6-5 Vermont over the Mainers. Sanford trying to play spoiler there up in Montpelier. The 1-1 late swing and a miss from Bellini, 1-2.
Big cut from Bellini there. He's a guy that over half his hits on the season are extra base hits, and with that swing, you could see why. If he's able to get a hold of that fastball up, he's going to give it a ride.
The 1-2. Fouled right back to the chain link fence. Good hack from Bellini. Still 1-2.
Yeah, another fastball high, and Bellini likes that pitch. Almost got a hold of it, but just underneath it. Lined it back into the screen, but that's a dangerous offering there from Steffel. Bellini's now seen it twice, and he's a lot closer on that offering.
Swing and a foul. Bellini just got a piece of what appeared to be an off-speed from Steffel.
Yeah, and good idea from Steffel bringing the off-speed. Now, it's in the same spot as the fastball, so you like the idea of him tunneling it, trying to catch Bellini out on the front foot there, which he did, but could also be a dangerous pitch because if you leave an off-speed, something like that hanging up at the top edge of the zone, that's where you can really be hurt as a pitcher But luckily for Steffel, he did catch Bellini out in front, just able to battle it off.
The 1-2 popped up to our right. That will be out of play and beyond, however many feet of stands we have here at Cardines Field. Still 1-2 on Bellini.
Yeah, I still don't have a rough estimate on that, so I'll get back to you.
We'll just have to bring a measuring tape someday. Settle it for you.
I'm going to Google Earth the as the crow flies right now because I am just so curious.
Not sure how much of a help Google Earth would be in this situation.
We'll see.
Man, if it is 20 feet, I am in for a tough night.
Oh, yeah, big time.
The 1-2. Hooked foul down the left field side, and we will do it again.
Great job from Bellini adjusting in this count because he's seen his fastball, he's seen changeup, he's seen breaking ball, and he's gotten a piece of every single one right there, way out in front, but just adjusting mid-swing, able to battle off that pitch. Still a 1-2 count. Incredible at bat from the Cincinnati shortstop.
1-2 is low. Good stop by Spiegel. 2-2. We have an estimate 28 feet according to the friends at Google Earth, which isn't all that bad.
You had me nervous at first.
It's in the 20s.
But
I'll
I will
take it.
say, Nick, you adjusted your guess and said it was 30. A lot better estimate from you, and we'll give you that one. We'll give you that one.
Thanks. I'm really trying my measurements, guys.
Pitch number 9 on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bellini goes fishing a big first out for Chris Steffel, 1 away.
A tough pitch to end that at-bat on because it was such a great at-bat for Bellini, but that one was in the dirt and he couldn't lay off. So it is strike 3, and now there is 1 away. But I think he did a great job at the plate, and he talked about upping the pitch count for the Vineyard in this inning. They did it against McCarthy, and they're already doing it against Steffel here in his first couple batters that he's facing. So even though it's an out, I think it's a great out for Bellini.
Ryan Tours the batter. He singled in the 5th and struck out in the 3rd. He takes in tight 1-0. The 1-0 pitch, flied foul out of play down the third base side. Counts back even, 1 ball and 1 strike on Tours.
And Tours is a guy that possesses a lot of power, could pull it down the line, but we've seen it earlier with that shot in between Raper and Slavens at third and short. That's where a lot of his doubles on the season have been, also down the left field line and in left center too, so he can really spray the ball everywhere.
Rips that one, that's a base hit into right. Malloy scores. Jones will score. It's a 2-run single for Ryan Tours, and this is a 1-run ball game here in the 6th.
And this
Sharks 6 and the Gulls 5.
This is the inning that Newport needed. You have the bat starting to click at the plate now in Tours. We talked about how he's been able to hit the ball sharply here today. His last at-bat he did, able to pull that one to the right side of the infield, past the diving Aguilar. Big 2 RBI single there from Tours. And as you said, it's just a 1-run game now. And you got the Isaiah Thomas, an all-star, due up at the plate, and then it flips the lineup back over for Newport.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for more from Tours right there. I mean, just taking a good pitch and taking it the other way to score 2 runs. Definitely a very productive at-bat right there for Tours and what you want to see from this Gulls lineup.
So now the potential go-ahead run is at first. Still only 1 out in this inning. Isaiah Thomas, the batter, against Steffel. He swings and misses. 0-1.
Steffel starting off this at-bat with the off-speed pitch that dropped beneath the zone. And when your fastball has been getting hit a little bit, Bellini saw it well. I think that's what you have to do, especially against a talented hitter like Thomas. But you can't be throwing that all too often because guys are going to pick up on it. So it'll be interesting to see how Steffel handles this pitch.
That one's roped. That's a base hit in a center. Rounding third is Vasic. He's going to be sent. The throw is going to be towards third. We are tied at 6. It's an RBI single for Isaiah Thomas. And we are back square. Sharks 6, Gulls 6 here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, so it's a fastball that everyone's seeing well. Thomas is no exception. He lines it right back up the middle into center. Just a great piece of hitting, and it's an RBI single that brings in Vosick. This is a huge inning now for the Gulls. Lineup flips over. It's a tie ball game. This is the 9th batter at the plate for the Gulls here in the 6th.
And still only 1 out. All of these runs are charged to Oliver McCarthy. I'll give you the earned, unearned in a second. But Greg Cavalieri is the 9th man to bat in the inning. Grounds that one up the middle. That's a base hit. Tour scores. Thomas pulls in at second, and for the first time tonight, the Gulls have the lead. It's an RBI single for Cavalieri. It is 7-6 Newport here in the 6th.
They always say hitting is contagious, and it is this inning for the Gulls. That is their 5th hit of the inning. A 3rd hit in a row, and it's just spraying it all over the field. Couple hits up the middle, pulled one to right. Newport's looking hot this inning. The bats have been hot lately. It's no surprise that they're coming alive. It seemed like they would eventually, and they're coming alive in bunches here.
This is some inning for the Newport Gulls. Down 5 to start the inning. Now you're up by 1. How about that?
The runners go. The third. That's going to be too late. It's a double steal.
And I love the aggressiveness on the base pass for the Gulls. It's a 1-run ball game, but you got speed in Isaiah Thomas, the fastest player on the Gulls. And then you have Greg Cavalieri, already has 8 steals. Either throw down is not going to be easy for Spiegel behind the plate. You send them, you be aggressive, you get them both in scoring position now. You force the Vineyard to be aggressive defensively. Now they have to have the infield playing in.
That's grounded. Slavens has it. He will look back, the runner at third, and throw Bender out. So the Sharks finally catch a break as that ball was hit hard, but right at Slavens. 2 outs now in the 6th inning.
Yeah, nice play there from Slavens. Able to backhand that one. It was a hard hit chopper over there to the shortstop, and he looked back Thomas at third to make sure no Newport runner advanced on the play. So still 7-6 ball game, but the Gulls threatening. You got Chris Hamilton up at the plate, who already singled and scored in this inning.
Sharks, of course, are now back. That ball scoots away from Spiegel, and coming home to score is Thomas with the 7th run of the inning, and now it's the Gulls by 2, 8-6.
Yeah, and the Gulls have caught a couple of breaks in this inning. 2 errors already for the Vineyard, but then that wild pitch seals the deal for the Gulls. They now lead by 2, and with Thomas's speed, he didn't hesitate. Ball scoots away from Spiegel. That's just an easy run for Newport.
Hey, for Newport, since you're already in the playoffs, this is a very easy game. You can easily roll over when you're down by 5 runs. But the fact that Newport has come back here so far,
1-1 on Hamilton,
and has put together such a productive inning to take a 2-run lead, just shows how much heart this team has.
In a game, by the way, that couldn't mean less for Newport. They have battled back. The 1-1 is inside. Time was called. No, we called a balk. So Steffel balks, and that becomes the 8th run of the inning.
Yeah, tough break there for the Vineyard again. Yeah, just another miscue, and the Gulls are on the other end of it, as that will be another run this inning. They now lead by 3. And you got to admire the heart in this team because, as you said, not much left to play for. They already sealed up the 2nd spot in the Southern Division. But this win could prove to be a big one if they make it to the championship, because they are fighting for home field advantage in that situation. They want to have the best record possible, and so every win still, even though locked up for 2nd place, does matter.
2-1 the count on Chris Hamilton. The 2-1's grounded sharply. Vedetto is there. He will step on the bag, and that will put to bed what was a brutal inning for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. The Gulls score 8 runs, aided by 2 Vineyard errors and a wild pitch. We are through 6. It's now the Gulls by 3 on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Stretch time is over here at Cardines as we all are inducted into the Newport Choir once again. We are ready for the bottom of the 7th. Gulls lead 9-6 following a big 8-run 6th inning for Newport, as it will be the 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for the Gulls, and there's a new pitcher on the mound for the Vineyard to face them. It's Hunter Harris.
I was mid-enjoying my 7th inning stretch, and Steven throws it to me.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's totally fine. Hunter Harris coming on now in replacement of Chris Steffel. Harris on the year owns a 3.57 ERA in 14 2/3 innings pitched.
So that does close the book on Chris Steffel. He went 1 innings pitched, gave up 3 runs, all of them earned off of 3 hits, no walks, and a strikeout as that first pitch to Justin Henry Malloy. Fastball in there for strike 1.
Yeah, that's a little known quirk. If you come in relief, you aren't bailed out by the errors that occurred when your replacement was in.
That slider misses low and at the plate, 1-1.
So overall for the Sharks, their team earned runs tonight are 2, but McCarthy has 2, Steffel has 3 individually. It's an interesting quirk, but Steffel is charged with 3 earned runs.
Now Harris looks on the 1-1. Fastball lined back into the screen, 1-2.
I learned about that rule this year. I'm not sure how I feel about it because, frankly, yeah, Steffel gave up those hits, but he never should have been in that situation.
It is an interesting rule. You could think about it either way, as that 1-2 pitch swung on and missed from Malloy, forced strike 3. So first batter Hunter Harris faces, sends him down with a strikeout. So that will now bring up Hayden Jones. He's 0 for 2 on the night, but he has reached base safely once. Worked to walk his last time up in that long 6th inning for the Gulls. Later came around to score as that first pitch misses low for ball 1.
Yeah, Steffel gave up 3 runs, all of them earned on 3 hits, did strike out 1. But he's on the hook for the loss at the moment.
This pitch in there for strike 2. Another interesting rule, it kind of reminds me of team rebounds in basketball that a lot of people don't pay attention to. If a ball goes off the rim and goes out of bounds or something like that, you credit the team with the rebound but not a personal player. And so sometimes you add up all the rebounds that all the players have, and it doesn't add up to the total team rebounds. And same here with earned runs and runs for pitchers and earned runs for the whole team. This pitch is going to be chopped over slowly to the left side of the infield. Raper cuts off Slavens. He can't get it. Slavens ends up having it. Throw to first, not in time. So Jones is aboard safely with an infield single.
So Newport has an even dozen, 12 hits on the ball game.
And it was a slow day for the Gulls initially. You see the replay there. It looked like Raper could have maybe had that play, had to be a little bit quick with it, and so that's why it bounced off his glove as he tried to get it in front of Slavens while he was charging. As that first pitch swung on and missed, had a fastball from Brett Vosick. Vosick on the day, 2 for 3, a pair of singles. An RBI his last time up, also a run scored. First 0-1 pitch to Vosick, and we've flown into left, but Burnside moves to his left, and he's there for out number 2.
So 2 lineouts now for Vosick, about as tough a 2 for 4 as you can have. He's been great at the plate.
Yeah, he's been a guy that's been hitting the ball well recently, and you could see it even on his outs. It's well hit balls. But nonetheless, after that out to left field, there is 2 away with a runner on first for the Gulls. They lead the Sharks 9-6 here. Joey Bellini settles into the plate. First offering, fastball up, swung through and missed. 0-1.
Bellini was the lone interruption for a while in the 6th. He struck out as the first batter to face Steffel.
Now Harris looking on righty matchup for him on the mound. He's working from the first base side of the rubber on the 0-1 pitch. Caught the top edge of the zone, 0-2.
I'm not sure about that, but the count's 0-2 on Bellini.
It's glad that you agree with us.
Harris looking on now on the 0-2. Pitch is going to be grounded softly over to Raper at third. He throws to second for the force out to end the inning here in the 7th. Heading into the 8th, though, the Gulls still lead by 3 runs. It's 9-6 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. On the NECBL Broadcast Network, and we have a couple of defensive changes for the Gulls. Hayden Jones switches over to first base. Now we saw him play the other corner yesterday for the first time on the season. Now he shifts from the catcher tonight over to first base for the Gulls, and you're going to see Peter Ceruto behind the dish for Newport. So that effectively takes out Chris Hamilton in this game. He grounded out his last time up to first base to end the 6th inning. And it looked like he played the field in the top of the 7th, but he is not out there here in the 8th.
Yeah, Ceruto now hitting cleanup.
This first offering swung on and missed at a fastball at the letters to Rudy Aguilar.
Yeah, I would think that substitution for Ceruto and Hamilton would probably be because you want to give Hamilton some rest. You know, he's a guy who has a lot of power in your lineup, and he hasn't had many days off.
This 0-1 slider going to be grounded softly over to Bender. He scoops it up, throws to first to the new substitute in Jones, and he's there for out number 1. Yeah, you hope Hamilton didn't pull up with an injury. It didn't seem like a glaringly obvious injury if he did pull up with one, then that we were made aware of up here in the booth. And so if it wasn't an injury, which it doesn't seem to be the case, at least obviously, then it might just be for rest for him.
Yeah, I would think you want to rest as many guys as you possibly can before the playoffs start on Saturday.
So this will be a first pitch to Jackson Raper, fouling this one off at the plate. Another fastball from Townsend, 0-1.
And, you know, you've gotten your production tonight from Hamilton as well. You had the single in the 6th to really, you know, kind of help the Gulls in that big 6th inning.
Now Townsend looking on. Righty on lefty matchup for him against Jackson Raper. Working from the first base side of the rubber. Townsend, high leg kick on the 0-1. Fastball misses up and away. 1-1.
Raper 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Did strand 3 in the 5th, however, and ever since then it's really spiraled for the Sharks.
It's now the 1-1 offering. There's the slider, but it just misses up. Couldn't get it to break into the zone. 2-1. Yeah, Raper's been the go-to guy, though, for the Vineyard on the day. The only time he couldn't come up for the Sharks was when the bases were loaded. But he's looking to spark something here in the top of the 8th as they trail the Gulls 9-6. Down to their final 5 outs. Townsend on the 2-1. Another slider, back foot slider, and it can't get Raper to offer. 3-1. Good layoff there from Raper because that looks like an attractive pitch that's going to be in the zone. Now Townsend the 3-1 offering. Fastball that misses outside for ball 4. So that is his 2nd walk of the day, first here in the 8th. And with 1 away and a runner on first, that will now bring up Alan Burnset.
Good at bat from Raper, laid off some close pitches. And so the Sharks have now drawn 7 walks from Newport pitching.
So with Burnset at the plate, he is one of the Sharks that has drawn a walk on the day. Threw his walk in the 1st, since then has been 0 for 3. So that first pitch breaking ball misses outside, 1-0. Pair of strikeouts for Burnset. Last time up, though, grounded out to Bellini at short. It's a righty-on-righty matchup for Townsend. On the 1-0, fastball going to be popped right back into the screen, 1-1.
Sharks are back home for their final game of the year against the Mystic Schooners. Tune in. We'll be on the air at about 7:50, 7:55 for a approximately 7 p.m. first pitch.
Now the 1-1 pitch. Slider swung on and missed as it broke outside of the zone. 1-2. Of course, the Gulls will be at Winnipesaukee tomorrow, and then back in action on Saturday to take on the Mystic Schooners here at Cardines. That will be the first playoff game here in the NECBL. Now this 1-2 pitch, another slider. This one's going to be chopped over to Malloy at third. He fires the second. Bender with it for 1, but he doesn't throw to first. Conservative action there from the new second baseman for the Gulls, and didn't want to force a play over there at first. The Gulls do get one out on the play, and they get the lead runner off the base pass.
Yeah, definitely a great play by Bender to hold it. And he's been great tonight at second base. It's
you kind of forget that he's out there.
I know. I mean, he made a play, I think it was the 6th or 7th inning, you know, ranging to either his right or left and making a throw to Chris Hamilton, who picked it.
That was at the bottom of the 7th to end the 7th. Bender hasn't played second base since high school, I believe it was. Is that first pitch fastball in at the knees of DeSatis, 0-1. We talked to him before the game, said he was a little bit nervous to go out there. Scott Holzwasser, the normal second baseman for the Gulls, said, I think you're going to do great. Of course, Scott, a very energetic, positive guy, but Bender was still nervous out there, but you want to know it by the way he's played today, is that a 1 pitch is going to be popped back into the screen, 0-2.
I mean, if you gave Bender a wig and put him in Scott Holzwasser's uniform, I couldn't tell the difference between the two. I mean, he's been diving all over the place.
Maybe have the helmet fall off a couple times.
Exactly.
Couldn't split the difference.
I'm pretty sure if you put the wig on him, the helmet would definitely fall off as well, like Scott Holzwasser. But yeah, but it's been a very good night for Colton Bender at second.
This fastball misses low and in the dirt. Nice block there from Ceruto. Count now 1-2. Of course, if you look at his pants, they're just caked in dirt. And that was not only from the game that he's put in the effort, but also fielding grounders before the game. He was diving all over the place, trying to earn the spot at second base today.
I mean, he's earned it well.
This 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed above the zone for strike 3. 5th strikeout of the day for Mike Townsend in relief, and that was going to end things here in the top of the 8th. No runs crossed for the Sharks off of no hits and a walk as they leave one stranded, heading into the home half of the 8th. 9-6 Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 8th, Newport leads 9-6 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Stephen Off alongside the voice of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, Keith Chatton and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello, as it will be Ryan Tours settling in for the Gulls. Nick, I'm going to send it your way quickly. You take a look around the league to recap us on some games that are going around the NECBL right now.
Thank you, Stephen. Winnipesaukee taking the second game of the doubleheader, 19-2 over New Bedford. Vermont.
That first pitch going to be chopped right back to Harris on the mound. He picks it up and throws the first off the mound for out number 1.
Vermont up. Vermont taking a game against Sanford 7-5. Upper Valley taking the second game of that doubleheader with Mystic 3-2, and top 9 Keene up 2-1 on Ocean State. Actually, they are up 5-1 now on Ocean State. They've added 3 runs in the top of the 9th, so they're up 5-1 on Ocean State.
So Keene pounding it on the waves as that first pitch fastball misses up to Isaiah Thomas. 1-0. Of course, a lot of action today around the NECBL. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. A lot of important action tomorrow, even Friday potentially with that doubleheader in the north between North Adams and Valley. This 1-0 offering, slider in at the knees of Isaiah Thomas, 1-1.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the NECBL towards the end of the season, and today was just a baseball-filled day. So how fun was that?
It's a good day. As this slider misses low and away, check swing from Thomas, and they're going to say he went around 1-2. Of course, as we said, Gulls in action on Saturday against the Mystic Schooners for the first game of the playoffs. Then on Sunday, the winner of that will go on and take on the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, as that first 1-2 fastball swung on and missed at the top edge of the zone for strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Harris on the mound, and there's 2 away here in the 8th.
Yeah, Harris has really come in here for for the Vineyard Sharks. And has really gotten the job done for them after, Steffel and McCarthy combined to let up 8 runs.
His first pitch to Cavalieri, he chops foul towards both dugouts, 0-1.
But a good performance out of the bullpen from Harris tonight. 2 strikeouts already. Has only allowed 1 hit.
Yeah, been a bright spot so far for the Sharks. He toes the rubber on the 0-1. Another fastball that's going to be in on the hands of Cavalieri, and he's going to pop it out in a soft liner over to Raper at third. 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls in the 8th. Heading into the 9th, the Vineyard down to their final 3 outs as they trail 9-6 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Vineyard down to their final 3 outs here in the top of the 9th. It's 9-6. Newport on top of the Sharks. Still Mike Townsend out there on the mound for the Gulls. He's been in there since the final out of the 5th inning when he came into relief. Mackenzie Stills, the starter on the mound for the Gulls. First pitch fastball. Catching the corner low and away to Anthony Vedetto, 0-1.
Hey, we were just talking about it between innings, but Mike Townsend's really come in here. Has gotten the job done for Newport when they needed the most.
If he finishes this inning off, it would be 4 1/3 for him as he forces a ground ball over to Malloy at third. Charging the throw is wide of the bag. Vedetto thinking 2. The throw down, not in time. And so Vedetto is aboard off of that E5.
Yeah, it's maybe a spark plug for this Vineyard team. Appeared to be the first out of the inning. Instead, Vedetto reaches second. Let's see what the Sharks can do. Bottom of the order coming up. Slavens due up next.
Certainly was a spark plug for the Gulls. They had an 8-run inning in the 6th. And that really started off in E4. Then 2 batters later, they had an E6 that loaded the bases. And then they batted through the lineup because of it. So the Sharks are going to look to do something similar, taking advantage of some goals errors on the defensive end this time. Brady Slavin settles in for the Vineyard. Righty on lefty matchup for Townsend on the mound. First offering, fastball up, 1-0. Slavins, of course, 1 for 4 on the day, but he had that huge 2-run shot for the Vineyard in the 5th. We thought it was the longest home run to right field that we've seen here in the 2019 NECBL season at Cardines. This 1-0 offering, fastball lower in the zone and fouled off from Slavins, 1-1.
Slavins, that long home run in the 5th. That ball was crushed.
Yeah, I mean, just a mammoth shot from Slavins. Other than that, though, pair of strikeouts for him. Did ground out to first in what was Chris Hamilton at the time. Hayden Jones now covering the line at first as that 1-1 slider drops just beneath the zone, 2-1.
And as we're wrapping up this game right here, a dense fog is starting to settle in to Newport and Cardines Field.
We had a lot of fog earlier. Now we're seeing a lot of fog trickle back into the field. Coming in from the first base and right field side. Moving from right to left as this one's hit into shallow right. Going back is Bender from second. Vosick coming on. Bender's there for out number 1.
So Sharks have 2 more outs to work with. Josh Spiegel, the batter.
Major league pop-up there. And Bender able to handle it well. Obviously, I mean, he handles some behind the plate often, and so he wasn't too far out of his comfort zone.
If you could give a Gold Glove award for a single game, I think we could give it to Colton Bender for tonight.
He might have earned it tonight. I mean, just looks right at home over there at second base as Josh Spiegel settles in for the Vineyard. First pitch fastball cut on and missed. A little bit above the belt, 0-1.
And Scott Holzwasser is a tough act to follow there at second base, but Colton Bender has
if anyone has done, been able to do the job of following up Holzwasser, Bender has done that. Is this a 1-pitch slider drops beneath the bat of Spiegel, catching the corner low and away, 0-2.
Yeah, I'd say he's been a pretty good understudy over there at second.
And now Townsend looking to close out the Sharks. It's 9-6 Newport, top of the 9th. As the Vineyard's down to their final 2 outs, it's an 0-2 count. Townsend on the 0-2, another slider, just missing outside, 1-2.
I thought that was a good take from Spiegel.
Yeah, great take from Spiegel. It looks like a great pitch from Townsend, but Spiegel knows it's going to break and takes his chances there as it just cuts outside of the zone. Townsend now on the 1-2. Another slider, this one dropping beneath the zone. Count now even at 2.
Not a bad slider there from Townsend. It's just way too low. I think he was trying to get him to chase on that one.
A lot of movement on the slider. Just started a little bit too low, and so it was obvious to Spiegel that it was going to break beneath the zone. Is now on the 2-2. Fastball cut on and lined back into the screen, but Townsend trying to blow one past him, and Spiegel able to battle at the plate.
Yeah, good emergency hack from Spiegel.
Spiegel on day, 1 for 3, but has reached base 3 times, once on an error, once on a walk, and then also on a single. That's his only hit of the day. He has scored twice for the Sharks, but his last time up it was against Townsend, and he went down looking. Now on this 2-2 pitch, going to be grounded over to Malloy at third. He goes down to an E, knocks it down with his chest, fires across the diamond, and Jones is able to stretch up for it and retires Spiegel. So there's 2 away here in the 9th, and the Sharks are down to their final out.
Yeah, Malloy almost had that ball get away from him and then almost had the throw get away from him. But ever since the 6th, Newport has caught every break, and the Sharks are down to their final out. Jake Studley, the last hope. He does have a double, but he's also struck out 3 times.
Studley at the plate, as you mentioned, 1 for 4. First pitch fastball, big swing and a miss from Studley, but he's late, 0-1.
I'm a little surprised that Colin Shapiro's not pinch hitting for Studley here, but Jay Mendez not a fan of the pinch hit.
Townsend looking on the 0-1. The pitch, another fastball over the heart of the plate, 0-2. So Sharks down to their final strike now as this 0-2 pitch slider. Check swing from Studley. He knew he went around, and they say he did for strike 3. 6th strikeout of the day for Townsend as he earns himself the win tonight. And that will give the Gulls their 26th win of the season by a score of 9-6. Don't go anywhere. The Gulls pregame show coming up next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. So the Gulls win 9-6 over the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. Newport now 26-17 on the year, while the Sharks fall to 27-16. And it was an inspired effort from the Gulls. They fell behind early. It was 3-0 Sharks before the Gulls scored their first run, but then the Sharks kept pounding the score on. At one point, it was 6-1 before the Gulls scored 8 runs in the 6th inning as they batted around the lineup, took advantage of some Vineyard errors. And that is where we got to the 9-6 score line. Decent start from Mackenzie Stills. Had some blemishes in there, but also some great silver linings. He went 4 2/3, did give up 6 runs and 5 earned runs, also walking 5, but 7 strikeouts in those 4 2/3. So that's the silver linings we're talking about. And then Mike Townsend, the player of the game tonight for Newport, 4 1/3 innings of relief. Initially came into the game down 6-1, just looking to keep his team in the game. He did that. The Gulls came back, and then he got the win tonight after he dealt a great final couple of innings. He didn't give up a run. He gave up just 2 hits and 2 walks. He struck out 6 batters in 4 1/3. And it was just seemed like that 8-run inning for Newport that gave him that the victory tonight, and a couple of errors that were costly for the Vineyard.
Yeah, the 6th inning just completely fell apart for the Sharks. As a team, only 1 earned run in that inning, despite the 8 that Newport put up. Some shoddy defense, but give Newport the credit. They took advantage, and they win this one 9-6. Doesn't mean anything for the NECBL South standings. Sharks will still finish ahead of Newport. But a good win for the Gulls here, and let's see if that gets into the Sharks' head if the Sharks end up facing Newport in that best of 3.
Some silver linings for the Sharks, obviously, tonight. They had a good game. Jackson Raper was the standout for me. 3 for 4, 3 singles, 3 RBI, also worked the walk.
Yeah, he was fantastic. You look down, Slavens with his 4th home run. You look up and down the lineup. There were a lot of guys who contributed. Aguilar had a hit and an RBI, also scored a run. But after the 6th, they just couldn't solve Mike Townsend. Townsend goes 4 1/3, 2 hits, no runs. He was just fantastic tonight. The Sharks had no answer for him, and he kept the goals in it until Newport could score all those runs in the 6th. Most of them were charged to McCarthy, but it's going to be Steffel to pick up the loss as he led up the 7th Newport run. And Steffel picks up the loss. Townsend picks up the win. We took about 2 hours and 45 minutes tonight as well.
Well, it was a good win for the Gulls. Again, they advanced to 26-17 on the year, while the Sharks fall to 27-16. But for my partner in the broadcast booth, the voice of the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, Keith Chatnover, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for being with us here today. I'm going to let you off the hook. I know you got a ferry ride back, so we'll let you get to that. And you got a game on Sunday, playoff game, might be against the Gulls again, so hopefully we can work together once again.
That would be fantastic for me. It's always a joy here, Steven. So have a good rest of your day, and good luck rest of the way. Hopefully you guys will beat Newport at home on Saturday.
Well, thank you, Keith.
Or Mystic on Saturday.
Thank you. I knew what you meant. Thank you, Keith, the voice of the Sharks. And I'm alongside Nick Bello. Of course, the Sharks are in, or the Gulls, now I'm messed up. The Gulls are in action Saturday now against Mystic. They have a game tomorrow against Winnipesaukee, but this is a big win for the Gulls because it helps their record overall if they do advance to the NECBL championship. But good silver linings for the Gulls. Great comeback win for them. I'll send it over to you now. I've talked too much. I'll let you recap the rest of the game if you want. Take a look around the league. Post-game show is yours. Take it away, Nick Bello.
Thank you, Steven. Once again, the Gulls defeating the first place Martha's Vineyard Sharks 9-6 here at Cardinals Field, the last regular season home game of the 2019 NECBL season here at Cardinals. But the Gulls will be back on Saturday here to face Mystic for a 6:35 p.m. start in the first round of the playoffs. A great win here for the Gulls tonight after trailing 5-1 going into the 6th, and then that big 6th inning that was started by Colton Bennett with reaching base on an E4, then followed up by a single from Chris Hamilton. Justin Henry Malloy reaching to load the bases on an E6. Hayden Jones getting walked in, getting a walk and then walking in Bender, and then an RBI single from Vosick. 2 RBI single from Tewers a little later. RBI single from Isaiah Thomas, an RBI single from Greg Cavalieri, and the Gulls will go on to win 9-6 here at Cardinals Field. I'm going to take you around the league to see what else happened in the NECBL. A crazy day in the league as there were so many games going on. 2 doubleheaders, would have been 3, but 1 got canceled due to weather. And so starting with a 9-5 win for the Sharks this afternoon, who played at Ocean State just a little bit down the road here in Rhode Island. 3-2 win for the New Bedford Bay Sox in the first game against Winnipesaukee. They would go on to drop the second game 19-2 to the Muskrats. A 10-1 win for Mystic over Upper Valley, but Upper Valley would come back in the second game as well to win 3-2. And 5-1 win for Keene over Ocean State, as the Waves have fallen out of the playoffs, as well as the Danbury Westerners, who were just that close to getting into the playoffs. However, close but no cigar for both teams. So I'm going to take you around the Southern Division standings. In first place and in the first playoff spot, the Martha's Vineyard Sharks with a 27-16 record now after the loss to Newport tonight. The Gulls move into a 26-17 record, and they will still hold that second place playoff spot, facing Mystic, who comes in third with a 22-20 record on the season. Followed by Mystic is Danbury with 19-22, 7.5 games out of first place for the Westerners. Ocean State Waves 18-24, 9 games out of first place, and the New Bedford Bay Sox 14-30, 14 games behind the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, who were in first place. As for the Northern Division, the Northern Division's third playoff spot and even the second playoff spot is still up for grabs after tonight, with only 2 days left of games. The Keene Swamp Bats still in first place, 26-17 on the season, followed by them, the North Adams Steeple Cats, 1 game behind Keene, 24-17 on the season.
The Upper Valley Nighthawks 24-19, 2 games back, and they're also tied 2 games back with a 5.58 winning percentage with the Vermont Mountaineers, who are 24-19. The Valley Blue Sox 22-18, 2.5 games out, and then rounding out the bottom half is Sanford and Winnipesaukee. So I'm going to send it down to Stephen Huff right now, who has our player of the game, Mike Townsend. So Stephen, take it away.
With tonight's player of the game, Mike Townsend, you went 4 1/3 innings pitched. You had 6 strikeouts. You only gave up 2 hits. Everything was working for you out there.
Yeah, I felt good. I just try to make pitches and trust my defense behind me.
Now, of course, you came into the game. The Gulls were down 6-1, and so they were looking for their ace reliever just to keep them in the game, and you did just that. What was your mindset coming into the game?
Just make pitches and trust my stuff, trust my catcher behind the plate, trust my defense behind me, and we'll be all right.
Did it change after you got the lead, or was it just same mentality out there?
No, same mentality for sure.
All right, well, nice work out there, Mike. You went 4 1/3, 6 strikeouts, 2 hits, and didn't give up a run. He's the big reason why the Gulls got a win tonight, tonight's player of the game. Back up to you in the booth.
Thank you, Stephen. Once again, a great start right there from Mike a great effort out of the bullpen from Mike Townsend, who struck out 6, going 4 2/3 innings to pick up the win for the Gulls. Another great start, or I should say a decent start from Mackenzie Stills tonight, who went 4 2/3 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 4 walks, 9 hits, 6 runs, and only 5 of those runs earned. But I mean, you got to look at the 7 strikeouts right there from Stills, the Vanderbilt, one of our resident Vandy guys, who was won a national championship this year with the Commodores. I mean, just great stuff from that kid, from Stills all season, and we'll look to see if he can continue that success going on into the playoffs. If the Gulls make it to playing Vineyard after having to defeat Mystic here on Saturday. Once again, folks, you don't want to miss this game on Saturday between the Newport Gulls and the Mystic Schooners here at Cardines Field. 6:35 start time, folks, just like all of our other games. And I mean, it's going to be a great day of baseball. It's some very, very high tension baseball, as both teams are vying for a chance to win the Fay Vincent Cup. I'm going to send it down to Stephen Huff right now to take us home. So Stephen, take it away.
So the Gulls won tonight by a score of 9-6 over the Vineyard, and they'll be back in action tomorrow on the road to take on the Winnipesaukee Muskrats. For tonight, I'd like to thank our executive producer and director, Tom Lima, producer Shannon Carlson, associate producer Rob Sanchez, audio technician Arthur Smith, on-site engineer Shayna Wintraub, production assistants Tessa Rote and Mike Abbott, field reporter Nick Bello, and the voice of the Vineyard Sharks, Keith Chattonover. I'm Stephen Huff, saying goodnight from the city by the sea.